Hi guys, it's Kino. Welcome to another video. So today we are going to be doing a how are they feeling about your reading, but just before we get into it, I want to give a huge thank you to Keen, who is sponsoring today's video. So if you guys haven't heard of Keen yet, they are a huge network of vetted psychics and spiritual advisors who are there to answer any questions you may have. The sign up process is super easy. You just answer a few simple questions about yourself and the type of guidance you are looking for, and then Keen will match you with advisors they think would be the best fit for you. There are advisors in all different price ranges, all different specialties. They are online 24 hours a day, so whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world, you will find somebody who is available to talk to you, and you can choose to speak to them either through a phone call or through chat. I've been using Keen for almost a year, and I tend to use it when I'm kind of going through a tough time or struggling to make a decision, because it's really nice to get a second opinion and to just know that everything's going to be okay. It did take me a little while to find the advisors that I really vibed with, so I would recommend trying out a few different people and see whose energy is a good fit for you. And it's a lot easier to find this if you ask very specific questions, because then you can tell from how detailed, how straightforward their answer is if they're really picking up on your energy. Keen is offering new users their first 10 minutes for just $1.99, so if you guys are interested in giving Keen a try, you can use my link, which I will have here on the screen, trykeen.com/kino. I will also have it linked down below for your convenience. Thank you very, very much to Keen for sponsoring today's video. Thank you so much to you guys for listening to that, and now let's get on to the reading. Hi guys, it's Kino. Welcome to another video. So in today's pick a card, we are going to be doing a how they're feeling about you reading. I'm gonna give you guys a quick breakdown of how this reading will go, because if you are familiar with the videos I do on this topic, you'll know that I like to break it down into a few different parts. We're gonna start with a you versus them energy check between you and the person you are asking about, whom I will be referring to as your person, so that we can see what you guys are going through as individuals and what energy exists between the two of you in this connection, sort of where you're at with each other. And then we are going to take a deep dive into your person's energy, and this is going to include how they're currently feeling about you, what their intentions are moving forward with this connection, and any future actions that they're going to be taking towards you. And then we will close off the reading with messages directly from your person's higher self, as well as advice from your spirit guides. So there are 4 readings for you guys to choose from today. I'm going to show you each of the crystals one by one, and then please pick whichever one you feel drawn to the most. Number 1 is rose quartz. Number 2 is Caribbean calcite. Number 3 is carnelian. And number 4 is black tourmaline. Okay, so as always, take all the time you need to pick. You can pause the video if you need to. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with number 1. Hi number ones, so if you guys chose the rose quartz, this is going to be a reading all about how the person you are thinking of, aka your person, is feeling about you. So this reading is gonna go energy check, deep dive into your person's feelings, intentions, and future actions, messages from your person's higher self, and advice from your spirit guides. So for the energy check, this card that we have right here is going to be representing the energy that exists between you and your person. And we're also going to look at some oracle cards to look at your individual energies. And I'm going to be doing this in person A, person B style, meaning that I'm not going to be saying on this side it's you, on this side it's your person. But as I describe the energies of the two people, I will allow you guys to discern which one is resonating more for you and which one is resonating more for them. If you're listening to these descriptions and you find that you resonate with both sides, that is completely normal. It's a sign that you and your person are mirroring each other very closely, which, judging from the comments on these videos, that does happen pretty often. So feel free to claim both sides and just take it as confirmation that you guys are mirroring each other. However, if you find that either side doesn't really resonate for you or your person, then you may want to choose a different pile. So just something to keep in mind. Let's get right into it now. starting with person A. So first we have Phoenix, finding, and impasse. And for person B, we have oyster, clarity, and gratitude. Are they all gonna fit? Okay, so another couple hints if you guys are trying to determine like which one is you and which one is your person. Of course, the messages that come through are the most important, but I do want to point out zodiac signs and letters that might help you. So for oyster, this would be water sign. Cancer, oh my god, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. I don't know why that didn't come to me. And oyster also makes me think of the month of June because inside oyster is a pearl, and pearl is one of the birthstones of June. So that could be extra special confirmation if there's like a June born Cancer in your connection. And then over here with Phoenix, now this can be Scorpio because Phoenix is one of the symbols of the sign of Scorpio, but in this deck, Phoenix is related to the root chakra, and root is related to the element of earth. So here I would say this could be Scorpio, this could be an earth sign. Phoenix is also pretty fiery, so could be fire as well. I know that's a lot. I know that's a lot of signs, but just in case. And then with the letters, so you guys might know that sometimes I look at like the first letter of oracle cards as being an important initial, but I decided that I want to also look at the last letter because the English language, there's some letters that like never start a word, and so I just felt like it wasn't impartial, you know? Like not a lot of English words start with like X and Y and you know, things like that, and those could very well be somebody's initials. So I want to look at the first and last letters. So on person A's side, we have I, E, F, G, P, X. On person B's side, we have O, R, C, Y, G, E. So if those zodiac signs or letters match with you or your person, that could be a little hint or just something to keep in mind. But again, the messages that come through here are going to be the most important. So let's start over here with person A. I feel like person A is in the process of going through or has recently gone through a major transformation. And it does feel kind of like a spiritual awakening or a self-love awakening. The Phoenix is all about transformation, and if you look closely, we do have butterflies on this card as well, which is also a symbol of transformation and metamorphosis. The symbolism of rising from the ashes, it's like overcoming a tough time, coming out of a dark night of the soul. And this finding card as well, it's making me think of self-discovery or like coming back home to yourself and feeling how freaking good it feels to love yourself. You know, in this card, it looks like the person is hugging themselves. They feel so warm and so comforted within themselves. They feel like they are their own best friend. They feel like they're perfect exactly as they are. It's interesting too with this Scorpio energy because one of the more like negative or shadow sides of Scorpio energy is you can be quite self-destructive or quite hard on yourself. So I feel like this person was brave enough to take a look within and say, oh my gosh, I have not been treating myself the way I should. I have not been loving myself the way I deserve and the way I want others to love me. And I feel like this person really took a deep dive within to see where that comes from and what wounds were lying underneath. And they made the bold commitment to radically and unapologetically love themselves. And I feel this person like rising up from the rubble and feeling liberated from, you know, their previous negative self-talk and their punishing of themselves, the way they beat themselves up. It's almost like this person has recently made a promise to themselves, like, I will never do that again. Because there's a difference between being self-aware and pinpointing areas that need improvement and just like straight up talking shit to yourself and beating yourself up. And I feel like that person is sort of coming from this energy in the past. Like, they were quite unkind to themselves, if I'm being honest. But now that they see how good it feels to love themselves and to be there for themselves, I feel like they're never going to go back. And I also think that when it comes to this connection, that brings them a sense of certainty, because they've been on this path of self-discovery. They've been on this path of self-love. The root chakra is all about being grounded, being really comfortable in your skin, being very sure of who you are. And when you have this certainty and when you have this security, I think that you can also be very, very certain about the people you feel strongly for. You can feel very certain about why you feel the way you do about somebody, and you can be sure that they're going to be a good influence in your life. I guess if I could put it a different way, if somebody is very unstable or insecure or volatile when it comes to their moods and their emotions, they might fall for people who are not really good for them because they just fill some kind of void, or they might cling on people too much to validate them, or they might get into rocky relationships. And I think that person A maybe has come from a past of doubting themselves, like when they have feelings for somebody, because this person is intelligent. This person does have a level of self-awareness. So I think, which can kind of add to the stress of going through an awakening like this. Like when you're in a dark night, when you're in a low energy and you know it and you're observing it, it kind of is like a blessing and a curse. But I think that this person has come from a past of maybe not feeling like they can trust their feelings and doubting when they have really strong feelings towards someone or something, because they're like, is this person really good for me, or am I just wanting the validation from them, or do I just not want to be alone, or is there something about their shadow that is calling to my shadow? It feels like this person has really questioned and doubted their reasoning for falling for people in the past. But when it comes to person B, when it comes to the oyster, they are so sure. And it's because the oyster came into the phoenix's life at a time where they finally know themselves and they finally know what is good for them and they finally know where they want to go in life. And it may sound kind of dramatic, but I almost want to say, like, I've never been so sure about somebody. This is how the phoenix feels towards the oyster. I've never been so sure about somebody. And I think if the phoenix has a level of spiritual awareness or believes in a higher power orchestrating things, they probably think it's very, very telling and very, very magical that the oyster came into their life at this point, you know, because I think the phoenix has some recognition. Like, if I had met the oyster earlier, when I was in my dark night, when I was less evolved, it could have been a disaster. Or maybe it has been, and the oyster is coming back now that the phoenix is more evolved and more in love with themselves and more sure of themselves. But there's something about an encounter or a reunion with the oyster that I think the phoenix feels is very, very significant. Almost as if spirit was trying to confirm to them that they're on the right path, that they're going on the right self-love journey here. They're finding themselves, they're finding their true joy. So I feel a lot of certainty and I feel a lot of happiness on the phoenix's side. Now, with this impasse card here, impasse is like, and I'm saying this because I didn't know what it meant when I first got this deck. So just in case there's anybody else out there who doesn't know, impasse is like a situation that is not moving forward because of some disagreement or because of some other kind of blockage. So when it comes to person A, the phoenix, I do think that they are still feeling a blockage in some way. Now, this disagreement that we see here with the impasse, it could be a perceived disagreement that the Phoenix has between them and the oyster person. So maybe the Phoenix on their end is saying like, wow, I feel so excited. I feel so sure about this person and this connection, but I'm not sure if they feel the same way, or it doesn't really look like they do. So it might be a perceived impasse within them, or it can also be a disagreement that's going on within themselves where they're like, I want to come forward, but I don't want to come on too strong. Because what I can say about the Phoenix right now is like, they are hot. I don't know how else to describe it, but like the Phoenix is hot and fiery. This card is related to the sacral chakra. So I feel a lot of like passion and excitement on person A's side. And maybe they are just feeling like they don't want to come on too strong, or they're feeling like, you know, I'm fresh out of my dark night of the soul. I don't want to be too impulsive. I don't want to be too reckless. I want to just take things one day at a time. I want to take things slow, which honestly, good for them. Again, I feel like this person is they're very analytical. So even when they're super hot and passionate, it's like, they're analyzing that passion and trying to figure out what's the best way to present it. And I also think that, so let's move over to the oyster side, person B side. I do think that this person is a little bit more cool and a little bit more closed off. And so maybe one of the Phoenix's reasons for wanting to tone down their energy is to sort of match the oyster. Like they don't want to overbear the oyster, if that's the right wording. But yes, okay, so let's talk about person B's energy now. Let's talk about this oyster. I find it really interesting too how this kind of looks like a pearl, which is hiding in the oyster. And it's making me think like person B has a lot of clarity about this connection as well. Like the same way we were talking about person A being very, very certain and, you know, thinking that the way they came together must be a sign that they're on the right path. I think that person B very much feels this way as well, but they just might be more low-key about it or more quiet about it. Their card is associated with third eye. So this person is definitely highly intuitive and even has some kind of spiritual belief or awareness, but they just might not be so open about it. And it's not necessarily that they're skeptical. It just might be that this person is more of the reserved type, more of the keeping things to myself type. Okay, so with the oyster, I often think about perfection and how it takes a long time for the pearl to form within this oyster. But as time goes by, it goes from being like rough sand or whatever it is to this beautiful polished pearl. I feel like this is somebody who likes to really, really take time for things to be perfect when it comes to anything in their life. So if they have a feeling inside them that they want to express, I feel like they're going to mull over it for a very, very long time until they know like exactly what the feeling is and exactly the right wording to put it in and exactly the right time to express it. I can kind of see that on both sides, honestly. This kind of, I don't know if perfectionist is the right word, but just being very analytical and cautious and wanting to make sure that you're coming forward in the most accurate and the most productive and beneficial way. And I wanted to give the example of even with creations, like projects that person B works on or things that they create. It's like, they're not going to show it to anybody until they're sure that it's like exactly how they want it. They don't really like to show the rough draft. They want to show the polished product, you know, always putting their best face forward. And I think that while person B does have some intuitive gut feeling that there's something really special about the Phoenix and there's something really special about this connection, I think they may just be waiting until they have 100% clarity about what this connection is and what am I supposed to do. And that can be a little bit detrimental if I'm being honest, because it's almost like person B is waiting to have all the answers and waiting to feel completely secure before they move forward. It's like they want to know everything before they move forward. Whereas their intuition is telling them the answer right away, they still have that logical part of them that wants to know all the answers. And I think that this is some sort of like protection mechanism with this hard shell of the oyster. This might be a way that they guard themselves. Maybe this person has been hurt in the past where they thought a relationship was one thing and then it was something completely different. Like they got blindsided, I think that's the word, or like backstabbed by a previous partner. And so they have formed this shell. Oh, wow. I'm almost thinking of like, you know how some people talk about like a calcified pineal gland? I honestly don't know how I feel about that, but like, I'm just thinking like, the pearl is clarity and the oyster is the tough shell around it that almost like masks the clarity. It's almost like this is a very intuitive and insightful person, but past hurts have formed this tough oyster shell around their intuition, around their clarity. So while maybe they once, oh, this is kind of sad. I was going to say, while they maybe once would have been able to feel so sure about the phoenix, now that they have this shell of pain around them, it's like they doubt everything. And I almost see like this person is moving from a place of doubt to clarity and certainty, but this person has moved from a place of clarity and certainty to doubt. Almost like you're going in different directions, but I think that you guys will be able to complement each other and help each other out of your respective dark nights. And I think that with the warmth and with the passion and with the joy and with the friendliness that I see on person A's side, I think that slowly but surely this oyster shell can open again. And I think that the phoenix person can have sympathy for the oyster person because they know what it's like to be afraid. They know what it's like to be doubtful. And the oyster person can find inspiration in the phoenix because they're like, this is who I once was and this is who I can get back to. I know that this clarity and this certainty and this passion is in my shell. I know that it's not lost. It's just hiding. And in the right environment with the right support, I can open up again. And the oyster really, really wants to open up again. I'm so sure of that. Because again, even if their third eye is like concealed or on the back burner right now, it's never lost. It's never completely shut off. And with this gratitude, so I think it's very interesting how one of the people is pregnant. I think this is person B, because it's making me think of like potential or something in them that wants to come out. And with the right support of their loving friend by their side, they can go through a rebirth the same way the phoenix person has. It's like you're on the same path, but the phoenix has like blossomed a little bit earlier and they're feeling like the oyster is not quite there yet, but they will get there. It's just like the timing is a little bit, I don't know the English word, but the timing is a little bit like off, I guess. Yes, so with that in mind, let's take a look now at the card in the middle, which is representing the energy between the two of you. And it says, don't stop, a miracle is around the corner. It's wow. And I love that there's a full moon in the sky because it makes me think of like emotions are running high, things coming to fulfillment. There's a lot that you want to say to each other. And it's like, you're just about to strike gold. I feel like a breakthrough in this connection is imminent. And I want to actually look at the guidebook for this card because I just got this deck recently and it's the first time I'm using this one. So don't stop. A miracle is around the corner. It's always too early to quit. You've had enough and you want to quit, understandably so. Continue moving towards your dreams, plans, and desires, and the universe will reward you for your patience and endurance. This is not the time to give up. Stand your ground and believe in yourself. A miracle is around the corner, and if you quit now, you might never find out what it was. If everything was easy, life wouldn't be fun. Without the current challenges you face, there is no growth. Without growth, you might not be ready to accept your reward. Build up your endurance and commit. You are reaching the most important part of your journey, and it is essential that you keep on going. I want to read the affirmation as well. I'm determined to achieve exactly what I want. I'm not giving up because I haven't tried all possible ways. I know that this is like the energy for your connection, but I honestly feel like this is a good message for you guys as individuals as well. And for person A, whether they're, going through this transformation or they've just recently gone through it, I feel like this is something that would really, really help them to get through. And if any of you guys have been through like a journey to self-love, or you've been through a tough awakening, I think you'll know what this feeling is like. It's like you're tired, you're weary, but you're so close to hitting gold. You're so close to your breakthrough. It's almost making me think of like a 9 of Wands. Think about how far you've come. Like, don't stop now. You've come so far. Both of you've come so far on your journeys, and I feel like there's such a deep mutual appreciation and deep caring for each other. It's just like person A feels a little bit more hot right now, and person B feels a little bit more cool right now. But I think that you guys will balance each other out. If I could say what is around the corner, this might be like a really like candid and open and honest heart to heart that is coming up between the two of you. I do see this happening in person, and I do see it kind of unexpected. Like, it's not really like you're meeting up to have a talk, but it just happens that way. You get, what is it called? One thing leads to another, and all of a sudden you're having this really, really deep heart to heart about how much you appreciate each other and how much you see yourselves in each other. It could also be over the phone. I just said in person because I picture like words being spoken, so not like over text or something like that. So either like in front of each other in person or on the phone. Okay, so let's get into the tarot now. I think I'm gonna leave these here. I think we have room for everything. We'll get into the tarot now and do a deep dive into your person's feelings, intentions, and future actions towards you. Okay, so for group 1, how is their person feeling about them? We have 2 cards that fell out at the same time and that fell out very, very quickly. As you guys might know, when cards fall out very quickly when I'm shuffling, it makes me think that the person is very certain about their feelings. Like, there's no shadow of a doubt. It often makes me think too that your spirit guides are very excited for you to see this message. When several cards fall out at a time, it's like this person is thinking about you a lot. This person has a lot to say to you. And it was funny. It wasn't like I hadn't really even started shuffling and then they came out. It was like they just bloop, like they just fell off the top. So it's also making me think, like, when you guys have this talk, this heart to heart, I feel like it's just gonna slip out. Like, it feels unplanned. So are you kidding me? No, I'm not surprised to see this. Like, I'm surprised because, oh my gosh, tarot is amazing, but like, I'm not surprised because it's you. 4 of Wands. We have I'm gonna walk away. Bye. What? Sorry, I had to like just get up out of my chair and like run in a circle a little bit. Are you kidding me? Okay, so the first thing I want to mention is we have the numbers 1 and 4 together, which just for me personally is a sign that angels are here. So that excitement that we were feeling when the cards fell out, that was probably your angels being very excited for you. Your angels who have been with you guys every step of the way. Your angels who are telling you, don't stop, you're so close to hitting your goal. At the time that I'm filming this, we actually just had a full moon a few days ago, but if there is a full moon coming up, actually, it doesn't even have to be coming up. The next full moon might be significant for you guys. Because the full moon can make us extra sensitive. It can make our emotions run high. Look, there's even a full moon. It's like, what am I trying to say? On the other side of your blockages, on the other side of your impasse is a full moon. Is very full and ripe emotions which are ready to spill out. Even this kind of looks like a full moon. So maybe check when the next one is, because around those days might be an downpour of emotions, might be the oyster opening up. The Ace of Cups is also like a cup overflowing with emotion, overflowing with love. Yeah, there's something like right around the corner in this connection. But yeah, with the Four of Wands, this is one of the happiest cards in tarot. So I know when it comes to this person's feelings for you, you make them so happy. You make them feel like dancing. You make them feel like celebrating. This person feels incredibly lucky to have met you. I'm being shown that like when things go well with you, when you say kind words to them, they might like, do a little happy dance off on their own where you can't see them. They might like lie in bed thinking about you before they fall asleep and either just like smile, like break into a big smile on their face. If they're a little bit extra, they might like, boop, boop, like pop their legs a little bit, or like hug their pillow a little bit, like, you know that feeling, like when you're giddy and you have a crush on someone. This is a very joyous and jubilant kind of energy. If you guys have met this person's friends and family, they really like you as well. If not, I think they want you to meet them, and they actually like play out scenarios in their head of you meeting them and thinking about how much they would love you. And it makes them really happy to think of you as part of their family or their group or their community. And to be in that circle of love with you is kind of how it's coming through. They're just really happy and proud to know you. They may even see you as marriage material with this Four of Wands, because this is about like weddings, romantic unions. They may see you as a soulmate or a divine counterpart as well. That's another meaning of this card. And this is also about a happy home life. So this person might imagine living with you and think that that would be very peaceful and harmonious. They may dream about having a family with you. Honestly, like the whole package. I feel like I'm just saying the whole package when it comes to relationships. This is also about success and passion and finding your calling. And going back to this pregnant person, they might have a feeling of like, when I'm with you, anything is possible. Like, you make me feel confident. You make me feel talented. If you have ever like complimented this person or commented on their strengths, their talents, or their future potential, that meant a lot more to them than you realize. Like, for example, let's say this person like drew a picture and you're like, wow, that picture is really, really nice. They may have just said in that moment like, oh, thanks, or like, no, it's not very good. But then they went home, they did a happy dance because you said you liked their drawing, and then they were encouraged to draw even more. It's like when you fuel them with positivity, when you compliment them, when you praise them on something, it makes them want to do it more. And I think that's special about you. Like, not everybody has that effect on them. And they're like, wow, this is the kind of uplifting, positive energy that I want in my life. You really make them feel like unstoppable and so confident, and your words mean so much to them. If you say something nice about them, they can really, it's like, I might just believe it. I can really start to believe it and see it in myself. And with the Ace of Cups, this is about self-love. This is about self-care. I think that you make this person see themselves in a new light, in a fresh light, in a more positive light. And they really feel like you bring out the best in them. And this person is just overflowing with emotion for you. The rainbows on this card look so happy. The flowers make me think of appreciation and also like a tenderness and a sensitivity. I feel like you really tug on the soft spots of this person or tug on the heartstrings of this person, and you make them feel extra sentimental, which honestly they're not mad at. They're very, very happy to have you in their life, very, very happy about the way you make them feel. They picture all of it with you, like the happy home, the happy union, being in each other's communities, being in each other's lives. Okay, so let's pull a couple cards now for, I feel like I started to space out there a bit because it's just too much. It's too powerful. Let's pull a couple cards to see this person's intentions. Look at this. We have the Empress. So what's coming up very clearly with this is like, I intend to treasure you. I intend to appreciate you, to value you, to cherish you. This person really sees you in like the highest of high lights. And it's not like they're putting you on a pedestal or anything like that, but they just think so highly of you, and they have so much love and respect for you. And it's a very soft and nurturing kind of feeling that they have towards you. Like they want to take care of you, they want to hold you, they want to feed you, they want to keep you warm, they want to keep you safe. It's that the way you would love and protect one of your family. It's like this person feels like you are their family, whether that's like you are their soul family or they want to have a family with you. They feel a very close and deep bond to you like that. I also want to say with the Empress that they find you extremely beautiful. On the inside, of course, but like aesthetically or whatever you would say in terms of like physical appearance, you are one of the most, if not the most beautiful people that this person has met. Yes, they intend to treasure you. They do intend to express their feelings to you with the Empress here. And yeah, oh my gosh. And we have the King of Cups. And this is also about expressing your feelings. And it's so interesting because we were talking about, like, they could be on either side, but we were talking about with the oyster, like a feeling being ripe and a feeling being ready. And that's really what I feel with the King of Cups. The King of Cups is someone who's done a lot of reflection, who's done a lot of healing, who's done a lot of self-discovery, and who is very clear about their emotions and who knows how to express them. And this is someone who's ready for the real thing, the real deal. They're ready to share what's in the depths of their heart. They're ready to open their heart to accept love. Like, this person loves you, honestly. Like, with all four of these cards, I don't know if they have told you this before, but they love you. No question about it. And they're ready to express that. This person has matured a lot. Either it's like in the past year or so, this person has matured a lot, or since they met you, they have matured a lot, and they're no longer afraid of their emotions. They're no longer afraid of being vulnerable. And they fully intend to make this work. Like, there's no way they're going to let go of something as special as this, is how it's coming through. So finally, let's look at... Oh, and I should also say, the King of Cups is also very, very nurturing in the same way the Empress is. So there's this like deep desire to like nurture you, protect you, make sure you're safe, make sure you're cared for. You really, really bring up those instincts in that person. And there's also this feeling with them of like intense compassion towards you. And again, it's not like they're putting you on a pedestal, but it's like they feel like you could do no wrong. Like they have this deep loyalty to you that even if you screwed up, even if you did something kind of questionable, like they would always be on your side, and they would still see you as pure and as sweet as they always have. Okay, what are the future actions? So we have the Three of Swords and the Two of Pentacles. Okay, so you remember we were talking about like there's some very deep conversation coming up. I do feel like it's going to be in person, or that you can hear each other's voice and that you can see each other. Yeah, maybe you can see each other as well. It's like phone or maybe FaceTime. Preferably it will be in person. But Three of Swords is about pain. Three of Swords is about heartbreak. And Two of Pentacles in this deck in particular, it really makes me think of mirroring, like for obvious reasons. And then the Moth, I believe in this deck, the Moth is also on the Death card, which is about like ending a chapter, putting a chapter behind you and having a rebirth, like we spoke about on both sides. So I think that a big part of this conversation coming up is realizing how similar your wounds are. Up until now, maybe you guys have felt like there's a lot of differences between you guys, but I think the more you get to talking, the more you realize how similar you are. Like you're not as different as you think, and you've been through a lot of the same experiences. And I know it might sound kind of like bad or unpleasant, but especially when it comes to the ways that you guys have been hurt and like major losses, major sadnesses in your life, I think it's very, very similar. So you can understand each other's pain, you can understand each other's wounds, and you feel like it's safe to let that come to the surface. And I just want to point out these cards together because I think it's really beautiful how here we have a heart that's like stabbed by swords, but with your friendship and with your compassion for each other, it's like flowers will grow to mend the cracks in the heart or to mend the wounds in the heart. And I feel like there's this mutual gratitude for your understanding of each other and your compassion towards each other. So, you know, when I put these two cards together, that's like pain and mirroring, that's kind of where I get that message from. I think that your next exchange, or this big exchange coming up, will be, I think cathartic is the right word. Like it's a big release. It's a big release of wounds. And you may also even get to talking about wounds that you've experienced within this connection. Honestly, this exchange might not be that pretty initially, if I'm being honest. Like it might finally be time for you guys to dump, like, it really upset me when you did this, or it really frustrated me when we had this dynamic, or this part of the connection really triggered my insecurity or my past wound. It's like you're kind of getting all of that out, like getting all the negative crap out with each other. But I think this is really, really important because with this rebirth, with the feeling of death that we have in this card, it's like, I don't know if burying the hatchet is the right word, but like, you need to get that all out so that you can leave it in the past, so that you can leave it in your previous cycle. And I think it's like you both have this mutual recognition of how beautiful this connection is, and how like no one makes you feel a joy quite like the other does. And if you want to do this connection justice, it's like you owe it to this connection to also address the pain that has come with it, because you know that if you let it fester, it's only going to sabotage things moving forward. So this really feels like a purging, and it has this feeling of like the exchange between the two of you, it starts kind of ugly, like that's the word that's coming to me. It starts kind of ugly, it starts kind of heavy, but you get all of the negative shit out that you've been feeling, and then you feel refreshed and you feel clean and you feel like you can really move forward with this positivity without it feeling like disingenuous, without it feeling like you're suppressing or stifling something, because you were able to get it all out. But at the end of the day, I just see so much mirroring and reflection between you guys. It's insane. Like, your pain is similar, your joy is similar, your desires for this connection are similar. And with the Two of Pentacles, I also see like each person is bringing their own coin. It's like each person is ready for something real. In tarot, like when someone's offering a pentacle, I think of it as like you're offering something stable, you're offering something reliable, you're offering something real that I can count on. So this may very well be you guys like making a promise to each other. Like, we're gonna make this work. We're gonna put in the effort and make it work. Like, shit's gonna happen, but when it happens, we're gonna talk about it, because it's not worth giving this up. We're gonna do everything we can to protect this. Wow. Okay. So now we are going to get some messages directly from your person's higher self. I think I'll put them here. Messages directly from your person's higher self. Cleanse, exactly. It's a cleansing, it's a purging that's happening here. You are water. Cry, sweat, drink, soak, swim to refresh. So your person's higher self, if you guys are going through some kind of healing or energetic purging within yourself right now, I do believe that your person's higher self is with you very, very closely. And it looks like they're encouraging you to move towards the water, whether that is taking a healing bath in your house or bathing in a body of water outside, if the weather permits for that, where you are from and the time that you're watching this. But they're with you every step of the way when it comes to your healing. If you've ever, this is kind of weird and it's specific, but if you've ever been like crying really, really hard, you know, when you just like cry so much that you start to feel like spacey and out of it. If you've ever had a good cry like this and then suddenly, strangely, you feel like your person is there, like you feel their energy hanging around you, and they want you to know that that was accurate. Like, that wasn't just you like imagining things, because they're always with you in spirit, the same way like they want to be there for you and protect you. Their higher self is always there with you, nurturing you and protecting you. And we have ask and receive. You get what you have the courage to ask for. Ask for help or support. So this might be a little bit of a hint when it comes to this future event that we see here. It may be you who is initiating. It may be you who is initially expressing some kind of difficulty or some kind of sadness or some kind of dissatisfaction, but it will quickly be mirrored. And I guess I should specify, it's not necessarily like you're blaming each other. Like, I don't like it when you do that, but it could just be like, I'm really sad that we don't see each other as much, or I'm really sad that we're not closer, or I miss you. It can be a pain like that. I feel like you will be the first one to vocalize it, but then it will be immediately and very closely mirrored by your person. Okay, so now we will take a couple cards for advice from your spirit guides. Okay, your cards are falling out really quickly today. And actually this deck, I didn't even think about it, but this deck is messages from your angels. And I really, really felt strong presence of angels earlier. We have Tiger's Eye, self-confidence through God confidence. Believe in yourself by believing in God working through you. So I feel like this last leg of your journey, it will take a lot of confidence. It will take courage. But as long as you believe that your angels are working through you and working with you to bring this to the best possible outcome, they're saying like, I know you can find the courage. We're with you. Your person's higher self is literally with you. I feel like Your person's higher self is gonna be like right behind you, nudging you, like, say it, they need to hear it, say it. Or like, I need to hear it, because it's them. But and tigers, it makes me think of protection, it makes me think of personal power. You have so much divine support with you. And actually, when it comes time to have this conversation, you might actually suddenly be hit with like a burst of confidence. Yes, because there was that message of things like slipping out. It's just going to slip out. And you guys will know how weird it feels if you've had this happen to you before, when like a spirit guide is working through you, or something's being channeled through you. It's happened to me before where I just like blurted out something to somebody and I'm like, what? That was so bold. Like, who said that? Who was that? So I feel like if you are feeling nervous to take this last step, if you're feeling nervous to come forward, your angels and your person's higher self are going to be like pushing you so that in the moment you're like completely confident to say what you need to say, and it might feel very out of character for you. You see how quickly the cards are falling out and slipping out? And we have opal, let yourself sparkle and shine. Opal is the birthstone of October, I think. Yes. We have October here, we had June here. This can be the sign of Libra, Taurus, and we have another water sign here. Sorry, I should have said that earlier, but just in case it's relevant, you are guided to be bold. Yeah, exactly. You are guided to be bold and show your bigger than life side to the world. Yes, with this full moon imagery, with this like be bold, be brave, it's all coming out. All of your cards are going to be laid out on the table. Pun totally intended. But your true feelings and your true intentions, like, they've been living in the shadows for too long. That's what they're saying. So it's time to just let it all out. Be bold, be courageous, be confident. If you don't feel that right now, when the time is right, I feel like you will get that urge to blurt something out and to be bold. And you might be like, shit, why did I say that? But it's going to lead to a very long and thorough and important and eye-opening heart-to-heart between the two of you, with a very happy ending that ends with a promise. So this is what I'm seeing for you guys. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it all the way to the end. You know, I really shouldn't add extra phrases into my outro because I remember it like muscle memory, and if I change the message, then I forget what comes next. Thank you very, very much for letting me read for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. I also have a Patreon, so if you guys are interested in seeing even more exclusive pick-a-cards where you get to choose a topic, that will be linked down below too. I'm sending you guys lots of love, sending your person lots of love, sending your angels lots of love, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye! Hi, number twos. So if you guys chose the Caribbean Calcite, this is going to be a reading all about how the person you are thinking of, aka your person, is feeling about you. So I'll break down this reading really, really quickly, just in case you didn't see the intro. We're gonna go you versus them energy check, deep dive into your person's feelings, intentions, and future actions towards you, messages from your person's higher self, and advice from your spirit guides. So for the energy check, this card that we already have out here, this is going to represent the energy that exists between you and your person. We're going to look at this card at the very end. And first we are going to look at some oracle cards to see the energy of you and your person as individuals and how you're feeling about each other. And I'm going to do this part in the person A, person B style, meaning that I'm not going to be saying this one over here is you, this one over here is your person, but I will describe both of the energies and I'll let you guys discern which one is resonating more for you and which one is resonating more for them. Now, if you're listening to these descriptions and you feel like you kind of resonate with both sides, that's totally normal. It just means that you and your person are very closely mirroring each other. But if you find that neither of the sides are really resonating with you, you may want to consider picking a different pile. So just things to keep in mind, but let's get right into it, starting with the energy of person A. So first we have the hawk, friendship, and completion. For person B, we have the eagle, trust, and wisdom. Okay, so as we go through these energies, of course, the messages that come through are going to be the most important in determining who is who, but I also want to point out zodiac signs that could be little hints for you guys of determining who is who, as well as significant letters. So for the hawk and the eagle, we have two birds, and both of these are related to the element of air. So we have air energy on both sides. And in fact, we have even more air on person B's side because this wisdom card is associated with the heart chakra, which is associated with the element of air. So we have a very airy person on this side. And then over on person A's side, we do have a little bit of water because this is related to the sacral chakra, which is related to water. So maybe a little bit more of an emotional or spiritual type on this side and a more like cerebral, I guess, or intellectual type on this side. And if I'm not mistaken, actually, the eagle can be related to the sign of Scorpio. So maybe this person does have some emotional depth to them, but it's a little bit more under the surface, I would say. And then as for important letters, you guys might know that sometimes I point out like the first letter on oracle cards, but today I decided to do the first and last because sometimes there are just letters that are never at the beginning of words or are very rarely at the beginning of words in the English language. And so I felt that it wasn't really like fair or accurate to only do the first one. So on person A's side, we have the letters C, N, F, P, H, and K. And on person B's side, we have E, T, W, M. So if you or your person have those initials or these zodiac signs, that could be confirmation as to who is who. Another thing is that in this pile, we actually have the animals facing specific directions, which I think wasn't a thing in the first group because I didn't notice it. But it looks like the hawk person is pursuing the eagle person. So the hawk person might feel like a little bit more of the chaser or the pursuer in this situation. So now let's take a look at the energies on each of the sides. I'm going to start with the hawk person, person A. I'll just call them the hawk. I think that's easier. Immediately when I saw these cards coming out, I really feel for this hawk person. I really, really feel for them. The hawk is somebody who is very intelligent, very observant. They're very good at reading the energy of people and reading the energy of situations. And this can make them to be a very emotionally intelligent person. I think the hawk is incredibly thoughtful and considerate and attentive, and especially when they really care about somebody, I think they're very, very good at just like I don't know what that noise was, but like scanning them and seeing like, okay, this is what they're feeling and this is what they're needing right now. They can sense like all of the undercurrents going on. I think this is a highly intuitive person. And with this friendship card here, I don't know how relevant this is going to be to the reading, but maybe like a hint for identifying this person. I think the hawk person has an ability to like look at a couple or look at a group of people and kind of assess like what's going on in the dynamic. Oh, like this is the alpha of the group, or this person is low-key upset at that person. Like they're really good at just like reading the room and reading the dynamics of people. And I feel like more often than not, they are correct. But what I sense with the hawk person is that this observant trait that they have, and this attention to detail and emotional undercurrents that they have, when the hawk person is stressed or anxious or otherwise kind of in a bad mood or a bad place, I think that this finely tuned system that they have can kind of get kicked into overdrive and can kind of start going wonky. So like when they're kind of stressed, anxious, in a bad place, they might tend to really, really overthink about every single little thing. Almost, I could say it's kind of similar to social anxiety, like starting to overthink every single little interaction, every single little gesture and facial expression of a person, and wondering, is that person upset at me? Did I mess something up? They can kind of get into this energy. And I wonder if the hawk person grew up or spent a lot of time around people who were unpredictable. And so they kind of had to develop this system of reading people really, really closely to protect them. Because like, you never know when that person's gonna get mad. You never know when that person's going to punish me. Like, for an example, if the hawk person had parents who were really strict, but it's like one day this behavior was okay, and then the next day they're getting mad at me for it. Like, how can I can only know what is right and wrong, not by some specific rules, but by very closely observing the moods of the people around me and the emotional reactions of the people around me. Because what's right and wrong is so inconsistent or unpredictable to me. This is my way to gauge the situation. This is my way to survive. So for some hawks, this might kind of be like a defense mechanism. Again, I just think they're highly intuitive and thoughtful and caring by nature. But when they're feeling stressed, that like overthinking, overanalyzing thing starts to kick in. And the reason I feel for them so much, in addition to that, is with this like friendship and completion. I think that honestly what the hawk wants more than anything in the world is just to have their tribe, like to have their soul family, to have their loved ones, to have their soulmate, and to feel loved and accepted. And there may have been some times in the hawk's past where they thought that they found that and that it was taken away from them with this completion card. Or the hawk may often move through relationships with this fear that eventually it's going to come to an end, or with this fear that they're going to do something wrong and that they're going to mess something up. They kind of have that overthinking or anxious tendency to them, I think. But what's interesting is that actually in both of these cards, the spirit animal of the hawk, it can be a symbol of protection. And here on this completion card, it's like we almost see these spirits are watching over this grieving person and protecting them. So I think that this hawk person has so much divine love and support around them. They're always being guided down the right path, but they doubt it very, very often. It's like they're moving through life very worried if they're doing the right thing, if they're going to stumble, if they're going to make a mistake. But the whole time, they're on the right path the whole time without realizing it, or they are so protected and they are doing the right thing without realizing it. I'm being reminded of a Work Your Light oracle card. It says like, you're already doing it. Keep facing your true north. Stop overthinking. I may have like butchered the order of those phrases, but that's a message that I would really, really want this hawk person to know. Like, you're already doing the right thing. You're already on the right path. You're already protected. Like, if you could just stop worrying so much about like, am I going to step on a mine? Am I going to take the wrong move somewhere? And that's why I really, really feel for this person. I can feel that they're like, they have some kind of fear or some kind of insecurity when it comes to their relationships, and it's almost like they're worried about saying the wrong thing or messing things up. That's kind of how their energy is coming through. Now over here, and like my voice is shaking a little bit, like I feel nervous. Over here on the eagle person side, I feel like the eagle is a lot more of a free spirit, with eagle being a symbol of freedom. And eagle can also be a sign of like power and authority. So I think the eagle person maybe they are a very busy person, or their career means a lot to them, or they have, high level of responsibility, high level of power, high position in whatever it is that they do. And I think that not only the hawk, but many people admire this about the eagle. The eagle comes across to people as somebody who is living their best life, as somebody who is really happy with themselves, somebody who is unbothered. And maybe that's why the hawk person is so attracted to the eagle, because they're like, I wish I could just like let loose and be free like that and reach my potential without caring what people think. I wish that I could live this kind of like chill and unbothered life. This is the eagle, and honestly, I think the eagle might be a little bit oblivious to how the hawk is feeling or what the hawk is going through. Maybe that's why it's coming through as like the eagle has their back turned and cannot see the hawk, and the hawk is trying to follow them. And I think that maybe the eagle has grown up around people who were like the opposite of the people that the hawk grew up around. And I think the people that the eagle was surrounded by were chill and laid back at best, but in some cases could have been even like kind of indifferent, I'm thinking of, I forget who it was. I was having this conversation with a friend about like parents being very disciplining and always wanting to know what I'm up to and stuff like that. And my friend was like, I wish my parents cared. Like they never ask me what I'm doing, or like if I tell them I'm going away, they're just like, okay, have a nice time. Whereas like, I feel like when you have really strict parents, you want more of that. You want more of like the lenient, chill energy around you. And of course, both energies are important, and ideally we would have a balance. But it kind of looks to me like the hawk person was more in like the being disciplined under a microscope kind of energy, and the eagle person was on the receiving end of like, okay, whatever, that's fine, So it has its good sides and it has its bad sides, I think. But the eagle person definitely really values their freedom. Probably they are striving towards like some kind of independent project, some kind of self-employment. They want to be their own boss. They want to live up to their full potential. This is somebody that you cannot really restrain. You cannot really put in a box. And I think this is someone who doesn't really think things through very, very meticulously. Like they just kind of wing it, no pun intended, or they just kind of go with the flow. And honestly, with these cards, trust and wisdom, I think that there is some sort of divine wisdom in that, whether they are aware of that or not, whether they're trying to follow their divine wisdom or not. This person, I think, actually has a very strong connection to their inner compass. So even though it's kind of like the Fool in tarot, like even though to someone on the outside, it just looks like they're recklessly moving through life about to jump off a cliff, they're actually just open to any experience that the universe throws at them, and they trust themselves enough to be able to handle whatever comes their way. Like there's really a wisdom in this sort of carefree way that they move through the world. They have full trust in themselves. They have full trust in the universe. Whether they feel like a higher power or spirits are watching over them, or they just have a gut feeling that everything's going to be okay. The eagle person kind of has more of a, like a happy-go-lucky or carefree kind of energy. And I think some people might misinterpret the eagle as being careless, like as just not giving a shit about anything. But that's not the case, because there's a difference between being carefree and careless. And this person cares a lot about their loved ones, about their close ones. This person has a very sweet and compassionate heart. But at the same time, I think like they have kind of a low tolerance for bullshit, and they're not gonna, how can I say it? There's very few things that they're willing to get pressed about or that they're willing to be held down by. And I think this person has very, very firm boundaries, which a lot of us don't have. So they can easily be mistaken as like selfish or careless, like I said. But I think the hawk admires the eagle a lot. They're like, that's who I want to be. I want to trust myself. I want to trust the universe. I want to have firm boundaries. I want to share my love and compassion when it feels right to, and say no when it feels right to. And I want to move through the world freely. I think maybe that's why the hawk, maybe that's why the hawk is pursuing the eagle. It's coming out like that because they really admire how the eagle is. But the hawk needs to realize, like, they already have this divine wisdom, this divine guidance within them. It's just this overthinking, overanalyzing system in place that needs to be unlearned so that they can fully unleash it. I think the hawk is already more like the eagle than they realize, or that potential's already like within them. Now, when it comes to the dynamic between these two people, with the way the hawk is pursuing the eagle and with friendship here as well, there's a few different ways that I could guess sort of what's going on between these two people. Of course, we're going to get a deeper look into it when we do the deep dive into your person's feelings for you. I can think of like 3 different ways to interpret this. One could be that the hawk wants something more with the eagle, but the eagle just wants to be friends because the eagle like can't be tied down, or maybe doesn't want to commit right now, or has a lot of responsibilities. Like I thought of the eagle as like someone who is achieving a lot or has a lot of responsibilities right now. So maybe they want to focus on that and just be friends with the hawk. Or it could be the other way around, where the hawk is saying to the eagle, let's be friends. And the eagle is saying no, either because maybe there's been some history here, like maybe these are like exes, or you've been in a separation, and the hawk is coming back and saying, I want to be friends. And the eagle is like, no, fuck that. Because either maybe the hawk person hurt the eagle, or maybe the eagle feels so strongly for the hawk that the eagle just knows, like, we cannot be just friends. Like, that's not going to work for me. We can try, like, we could try, but I know, like, I can't lie to myself. I can't lie to what's in my heart. I feel too strongly for you to just be friends. So, like, that's going to be too painful for me. So, yeah, there's many different ways that I can interpret this. And I don't know why, but since filming this pile, I'm, like, shaking quite a bit. I don't necessarily feel nervous anymore. Maybe there's a lot of like pent up emotion or built up emotion in this group. But let's take a look at this card in the middle, which is going to represent the energy that exists between the two of you. And we have fire. So fire, it makes me think of desire and passion, but it also makes me think of destruction. And the keywords that we have on here are transformation, rebirth, and renewal. And I actually want to read from the guidebook because I just got this deck very recently. This is actually the first video that I'm using it in. So let's read what it says on the fire page. Yes, your transformation will be hard. Yes, you will feel frightened, messed up, and knocked down. Yes, you'll want to stop. Yes, it's the best work you'll ever do. Fire symbolizes rebirth, purification, and transformation, creation and destruction, life and death, protection and loss. Fire can make you warm, but get too close and it burns you. So I just want to stop there because it's really making me think of like somebody might be afraid of, well, probably the eagle is afraid of the passion that is here. Like, I can't get too close to this fire because I don't want to get burned. And honestly, maybe the hawk is feeling that as well, because we can simultaneously be a runner and a chaser in a connection. We can simultaneously want something and be afraid of it. In native cultures, fire was thought to be a gift from the creator that carried the power of renewal. Fire can maintain life and destroy life. I am really feeling, sorry, I keep interjecting because like messages are coming to me as I read through it. I think what's really, really important to remember for this connection and for both of you guys is that nothing is set in stone. So for the hawk side, for example, just because they have lived with fear and anxiety in their significant relationships, it doesn't mean that they can never find a connection, never find a love that's going to make them feel comfortable and carefree. So the hawk person shouldn't feel like this is just the way I am. I'm never going to get it right. I'm never going to feel safe. I'm never going to feel trust. At any moment, they could have a breakthrough where they finally feel connected to the divine support, and they finally feel connected to their inner guidance, and they finally feel sure about their place in somebody's life without worrying. And on the eagle's end, just because right now they're feeling like, oh, I don't want commitment, or I'm a free spirit, or whatever it is, it doesn't mean that that can't change. And there's really like an emphasis here that any of this can change like in a moment. Or just because the eagle's thinking, I'm too scared of this fire, I feel too strongly, I don't want to get too close and get burnt, that can also change at any given moment. Okay, this card is assigned to burn off the old and allow new to enter. You are going through a powerful, transformative period in your life that has several meanings. Yes. From one perspective, it is the most beautiful time. From another, it is terrifying. You are changing. Parts of you are dying so that you can emerge again like a phoenix. What matters is what you choose to feel about it and view it. Are you ready for your transformation? And the affirmation is, I am strong, confident, and abundant. I welcome this period of magnificent transformation. So I feel like both of you are going through or are about to go through some major changes with your perspective. This is the card about your connection, or about the energy between the two of you. So it does look like this connection is going through a death and a rebirth of sorts. So we will have to just move on into the next part of this reading to take a deep dive into what is going on here. So we're going to take a look at your person's feelings for you, their intentions towards you and the connection moving forward, and the future actions that they will take towards you. This deck is so hard to shuffle. Okay. So for group 2, what does their person feel about you? We have the 10 of Swords, and the Knight of Wands. Okay, it kind of looks to me like this person is trying to move on from you right now. We'll have to look further when it comes to their intentions and future actions, but what I can see right now for their current energy, their current feelings, it looks like there's been some kind of ending in this connection, or they just on their end personally feel that there is some kind of ending. With the 10 of Swords here, I feel like you have been very, very heavily on this person's mind. When you were involved with this person, there's like a couple different ways that it's coming through, and I don't want it to feel like harsh or anything, but you might have been kind of complicated to this person or kind of confusing to this person. The way it's coming through is like you may have had an emotional depth or an emotional intensity that they couldn't really keep up with, or expectations that they couldn't understand or that they couldn't meet. And they found themselves like constantly thinking about you and like, how can I How can I meet their expectations? How can I make them happy? How can I live up to what they want me to be? And I think after time, this kind of exhausted them to where they were like, I can't, almost like it's too stressful for them or too much of a burden for them, I think, to put it harshly. So that's one way I can interpret this. It could also be that if you guys had like a breakup or a separation, that they've been thinking about you a lot ever since that. Like they can't seem to forget about you and think about the past with you. And it could be both, or if one or the other resonates more with you, then please feel free to claim one or the other. But yes, it could also be that ever since you guys are separated, or ever since you guys are talking less or not talking at all, they just can't stop thinking about you. But it looks like right now this person has made a decision that for the time being it is best to move on, because they just don't like how this is weighing on them. They don't like how it's consuming all of their thoughts, and like they don't want to worry about it anymore. They don't want to stress about it anymore. And with the Knight of Wands, this is someone who's like moving forward confidently. So I do think that in the time being that we're reading, they feel pretty good about their decision. They do feel like it's the right thing to do. They feel pretty confident. One thing that I guess I might be concerned about with this person is that they might be, they might be masking their strong thoughts about you, or masking feelings about the connection with like a lighthearted energy, like going out and hanging out with people and partying, or keeping busy in some other ways to mask how they're feeling. And while I think it's very, very important to stay busy and stay in an upbeat and positive energy when you're trying to move on from somebody, I think it's also important that to like honestly assess why you're doing that, and make sure that you're not just like steamrolling over something or trying to block something out. So I guess my one concern with this person would be if they are doing that, like if they're just like, oh, I don't want to think about this person anymore and I'm going to distract myself, rather than taking this as an opportunity to look within and be like, why did this trigger me so much? Why can't I stop thinking about this person? And doing that kind of work. It almost feels like they're like, this is too many thoughts, this is too many feelings, I don't want to deal with it. And what's very interesting is that if you were resonating with the interpretation of this person being like triggered by your intensity or your complexity or whatever it is, honestly, I kind of want to call this person's bluff, because they think a lot and they feel a lot and they're intense and they're complex. But I think they are denying that part of themselves, or they're suppressing that part of themselves. And probably when they see another person who is so openly emotional and so open about their wants and needs and fears and open about their complexities, it like triggers them, because deep down they know that that's a part of them that they're not acknowledging. And they would rather just live in a world where that kind of complexity doesn't exist. And so here they are in the Knight of Wands, and they may be feeling good right now. They may be in a good place right now. I hope that they can work through this stuff and move on and genuinely be in a good place. But I also want to say that this person wishes nothing but the best for you, and they want you to go on to be happy, even if that doesn't include them. And they hope that you are not thinking about them like crazy, like this card, and like the way they might be. They hope that you're moved on and peaceful and happy. Okay, so let's take a look at a couple cards now for their intentions with this connection. Yeah, we have the Chariot. So we have some Cancer energy coming through here. we have the Chariot and Divine Wisdom. So with this Divine Wisdom card, whether this person is spiritual or not, I do think that they believe in this idea of like everything happens for a reason. If something is meant to be, it will happen. If it's not meant to be, it won't happen. And they're really trying to go with the flow in this situation. And I honestly don't feel like this person has some intention of like never wanting to see you again, or has this intention of like, I need to get back with you. I feel like they're just focused on the now. This is someone who's very much just focused on the now and focused on the time being. And I think they just know right now that it's best to let this go. They know that right now it's best to be apart, but that doesn't mean that they're like completely closed off to ever seeing you again or talking to you again or being with you again. And with this Divine Wisdom, I think they're very much like they're open to things changing when the time is right. They're open to revisiting or even reconnecting when the time is right. It's just that they don't feel that the time is right at this time. And I think they're still open to like, if this is meant to be, it will happen. But with the Chariot here, this is a card that also makes me think of moving on, especially in this context. It's interesting how both of these cards so heavily talk about intuition and gut feelings with that Cancer energy here. And then of course with Divine Wisdom, almost like the divine is acting through this person without them realizing. And with this in mind, I would want to tell you guys, like, if you are going through a separation, no contact, no progress, or whatever it is with this person, or if you're feeling kind of distance from them right now, this may be for the best. This may be part of your divine plan, and they're just not overthinking it and they're just going along with it. Like, okay, I feel like this is too much right now. I feel like we should be apart right now. It's like this person is not resisting. They're not resisting the fire. And maybe they have some deeper intuitive knowing that when the fire has passed through and destroyed everything in its path, it's going to create space for something better to grow. They feel like there's a rebirth coming, whatever that might look like. But they're open to whatever that looks like. With the Chariot here, they may also be really just focused on their own achievements right now. Focus on building up their own success. Maybe this person realizes, like, my life is about to change. My life is about to change in a very, very significant way. And I just can't, like, commit to somebody when I don't know what my life is going to look like in a week or in a month, if I'm going to be living here, what my schedule is going to look like. The idea of trying to fit a relationship or fit a new relationship or new commitment into that already hectic and ever-changing future may be too stressful for them. So maybe it was like figuring out how this is all going to work out that was just bringing stress to this person, to the point where they were like, maybe this just doesn't make sense right now. Maybe now is just not our time, because it feels kind of forced to them. And this is someone who just wants things to come naturally, who just wants things to flow. And so they're very much led by their gut like that. So when it comes to their intentions, I can say for now is to move on, to focus on their accomplishments, to be happy, and hoping for you to do the same. When it comes to their more long-term intentions, this person is leaving it very, very open. So let's take the final two cards to see if there are any future actions towards you, or what is in your future. We have the Page of Pentacles, and the Nine of Swords. So the Nine of Swords is actually making me think of dreaming in this case. Usually there's a lot more of like a nervous or anxious or nightmarish kind of energy to it, but I really don't feel that in this case. Oh, okay. Okay, I got it. So yeah, usually we would see, or like in the Rider-Waite, for example, we would see somebody who's like sitting up in bed and they have their head in their hands and they just look like they're in dread, they're in fear. And I just don't really see that here. And especially coming from this energy that we saw in their intentions, where like they're just going to trust the divine plan, or they're just going to leave things up to fate. And if it's meant to be, it will happen, or they will come back when the time is right. This full moon is making me think of this person finally acknowledging their emotions. And okay, you know, we were talking about before, like this person also has a lot of intense feelings and this person also has a lot of mental complexity. I feel like this big full moon that they're holding is representing their intenseness and their deep emotional nature. And I think this person is going to have some kind of very, very eye-opening dream about you, where they realize like, holy shit, that's why I was triggered by this person. That's why I couldn't handle this person, because they were showing me everything about myself that I was suppressing and that I didn't want to admit was there. They're gonna see the truth of why they felt the need to run away. And honestly, maybe part of it really was like, I just want to go out and be free and reach my goals. Because like I said, there is nothing wrong with that, as long as you're not steamrolling over this, as long as you have the true awareness of why these intense thoughts are pestering you. I think they're having some very, very telling dream. And it's like an epiphany. It all comes together. And these swords are representative of truth. And the way they're all like cornering in on this person, it's like they cannot escape the truth anymore. And it's so interesting because they're like, I'm just going to leave it up to fate. I'm going to leave it up to the divine, if you will. And because they left it open like that, the divine is able to come in and show them the truth that they needed to see this whole time. To see the truth of you, to see the truth of the connection. Wow. So I do think that in the future, this person is reaching out to you. I honestly can't say when this is happening. For many of you, it may be more of a longer term future thing. Like I don't see this as like, well, honestly, it depends, because maybe you've already been like out of contact with this person or missing this person for a long time. But it feels like from the moment that this person like moves on, so to speak, and to the moment that they're coming back and reaching out to you again, it might feel like a very long time. But I do think that they are going to tell you about this. With this Page of Pentacles here, this is a card that in this context, I would think of somebody offering something to you. I said this in group 1 as well, but when someone offers you a pentacle, it's something pretty concrete. It's something pretty practical. It's something reliable. So it's not like someone is just coming back and like saying whatever they think you want to hear, or just saying things to please you. It's like they're telling you the truth. They're getting down to the nitty-gritty of their situation. So I feel like with this new understanding that this person has, they're gonna come back and tell you like, this is why I behaved the way I did. This is what I was running away from. This is why I felt like I needed to move on. And this is what I learned in the time that we were apart. And this is why I'm coming back to you, because I had this dream, or because I had this intense realization. And I think that they are going to leave it at that. And I think that it would be up to you, like, if you want to ignore them or if you want to say like, thank you for telling me goodbye, or if you want to engage in a further back and forth with them, or if you want to, propose trying this again, I think that will be up to you, because they are coming through as a page here. So it is kind of a small offer, or they're not taking it too far. They're not being too presumptuous. If this was like the King of Pentacles, for example, I would think like, oh my gosh, they're coming back to offer you everything and a long-term relationship. And it doesn't mean that they don't want that, but the concrete offer that they're giving you is something very small. They're just planting a seed with you, like a seed that you could take to further conversation. And I think that's also out of respect too, because after this time that you guys have been apart, and now that they kind of have this awareness of like, I ran away in a kind of shitty way, I don't think it would even be right of them to presume that you would want to take them back, or that you would even want to hear from them. I'm not saying that you can't, but it's weird to like assume that, I guess. So the offer that they will give you is like small and humble. Like, I just want you to know, I want to give you like a solid explanation for everything that happened and what I've been going through, and like make of that what you will. But I just thought that you should know, is kind of how it's very like humble. It's very unassuming, I think is the right word. But yes, this is how I see them coming through. And again, I think it will be after quite some time, and you're in no way like obligated to wait for this person. For some of you, maybe like they were just in your life to show you, like if you're the hawk person, maybe they were just in your life to show you this free spirit, this completely trusting spirit that is within you that wants to come out. Or if you're the eagle person, maybe they were just in your life to show you like, maybe I do want to like look after somebody, and I do want to care for somebody, and I don't just want to be flying around all willy-nilly. So, some people are just here to teach us something for a period of time, and then the fire comes and ushers in a new season. If you really feel this season should include this person, and you want to respond to this reaching out and take them back under your wing, that will be completely up to you. Okay, so now we are going to get a couple messages directly from this person's higher self. What would their higher self like to tell you for group 2? Gratitude. Remember when you wanted what you have now. Give thanks. Your grateful heart is a magnet for love and abundance. I think this person's higher self is incredibly... Oh, there's a siren. I think this person's higher self is incredibly grateful to have met you in this lifetime. Not only do I think that, but I think they're also coming through to encourage you to be grateful for this experience and everything that you can take out of it. All of the joy that you've experienced, all of the pain that you've experienced. I'm thinking of that phrase, like everything is happening for you. It's not happening to you. And their higher self wants you to look at your time together, or look back on your time together with happiness and gratitude. That's really sweet. No matter how this might end in the 3D, no matter what directions each of us might head in, they're saying like, I will always be grateful to have met you and to have been able to be in your life in this way. And you're going to teach me something very valuable. And I hope that I've taught you something very valuable as well. I am love. I give love freely. I receive love constantly. So their higher self is sending you so much love right now. And they want you to know that you're worthy of the best. You're worthy of the highest kind of love. And maybe their higher self recognizes that at this time, their human is not capable of giving that to you. So this could really be like the workings of your higher selves, like their higher self saying, I love you so much. You deserve the best of the best in this life. You deserve to be treated a certain way. And my human is not treating you like that right now. And it could be that this person's higher self has guided you guys apart from each other. Whether that be for a temporary period to reflect and grow, or whether that be permanent. Again, that is up to you guys. But let's take a couple of cards now for advice from your spirit guides. Okay, so we have increased support. Your positive focus and willingness to receive have opened the doorway to an abundance of help and opportunities. There seems to be, I wasn't going to mention it because I didn't know how like significant it was, but there seems to be kind of this underlying message of like, if you remain in a grateful mindset, if you remain in a loving mindset, if you keep giving and receiving love freely, you will be able to manifest whatever outcome it is that you want in this connection. And I wonder if this is like kind of a hint of something that could have caused tension in your connection previously. When we are in a lack mentality or when we're in an insecure mentality, we can kind of sabotage relationships in our lives. So this might be a message from your angels to you guys, like both of you guys, about the key of what could have been causing tension. I'm trying to think of a more like concrete example, but let's say there's somebody who has a lack mentality or who has a deep fear when it comes to like being abandoned or being left behind. And that fear is so strong for them that in order to compensate, they end up being very, very clingy in relationships and are maybe inadvertently controlling. Like they don't mean to be, but it's like they just always want to know like what's going on with the person, what are they feeling, where are they at? And that becomes so overbearing for the other person that this fear of being left behind can become something of a self-fulfilling prophecy. I think there's something here about being in a lack mentality or being in a negative mindset in your connections can become like a self-fulfilling prophecy where the very thing you were fearing was going to happen ends up happening. Or I use this example a lot, but somebody who is like afraid of not being understood. They're like, nobody understands me. And so they don't even bother opening up or trying to be understood because they've already they've already decided in their mind, like there's no point. And then they don't get close to anybody as a result. And they're like, you see, nobody gets me. So they're kind of creating that negative destiny from their own lack mentality. And there's a key here of like, if you stay in an abundant, loving, and grateful mindset and take every experience that happens here as something that's happening for you, you can manifest any outcome that you want. Okay, and we also have Dolomite, stay strong in your faith. A positive outcome is dependent on you keeping a positive mindset. Yeah, this is like exactly what I just said. Thank you for that, for wrapping that up very, very nicely. Sometimes I'm like, I start explaining something and I'm not sure where I'm going. Like Michael Scott, what does he say? Sometimes I start a sentence and I don't know where I'm going with it, but I figure it out along the way. I don't know what the exact quote is, but sometimes I feel like that. So it's a nice confirmation. Stay strong in your faith. A positive outcome is dependent on you keeping a positive mindset. Okay, so these are all the messages I see for you guys. So I'm going to end the reading here. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. I also have a Patreon, so if you guys are interested in seeing even more exclusive pick a cards where you get to choose the topic. That will be linked down below too. I'm sending you guys lots of love, and I'm sending your person lots of love, and I'm sending your angels lots of love, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye. Hi number threes. So if you guys chose the Carnelian, this is going to be a reading all about how the person you are thinking of, aka your person, is feeling about you. So just in case you didn't see the intro, a quick breakdown of this reading is you versus them energy check, deep dive into your person's feelings for you, intentions for the connection moving forward, and future actions towards you. Messages directly from your person's higher self, and then advice from your spirit guides with regards to this connection. So for the first part, the energy check that we're doing, this card right here is going to represent the energy that exists between you and your person. We're going to take a look at this card at the end. But first we will look at some oracle cards to represent your energy as individuals and where you're at in this connection. And I'm going to do this in the person A, person B style, meaning that I'm not going to say this one is you and this one is your person, but as I describe the energies of the two people, I will let you determine which one is resonating more for you and which one is resonating more for your person. Now, if you're listening to the descriptions and you find that they are both sounding like you, that is totally normal. It just means that you and your person are mirroring each other. But if you're listening to them and you feel like neither of them really sound like you or your person, then you may want to consider choosing a different pile. So just things to keep in mind, but let's get right into it. Starting with the energy of person A. So first we have the Panther, Closure, and Perception. Okay, and for person B, we have Turtle, Psychic Abilities, and Abundance. Okay, so as I'm reading these cards, of course, the messages that come through are going to be the most important in determining who is who, but I do want to point out the zodiac signs that are here just in case that is a hint for you guys, as well as significant letters. So in terms of zodiac signs, on person A, on the Panther's side, we have Fire, and Fire is Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, just in case. And then on person B side, the Turtle, we have Water, which is Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. In addition, we have the element of air on person A side because this card is related to the heart chakra, which is related to the element of air. So we have Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, as well as Gemini, Libra, Aquarius on this side. And then over here, the solar plexus is related to fire. So we actually have Aries, Leo, Sagittarius on this side as well. And Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Yes, I just want to be as thorough as possible. And then in terms of important letters, you guys might know that sometimes I look at the first letter of each oracle card. But today I wanted to look at the first and the last because I realized that there are just some letters that don't start off words very often. And so I was kind of always getting the same letters when I only did the first one. So on person A, important letters, which could be initials, are P, N, C, E, and R. And on person B's side, T, E, P, S, and A. Okay, so now let's get into it and look at the energies of each person. I'm going to start over here with the Panther. And I have to say right away that the Panther is a very passionate person. The Panther is a very hard worker, and this is somebody who really gives their all no matter what they are doing, whether they're at work, whether they're at school, whether they're working on themselves, whether they're working on a relationship. They really give it their whole heart and soul. They really give it everything that they've got. And I think that this is especially the case when it comes to their relationships and their loved ones. I think that this person is fiercely loyal. So if they care about you, they've got your back, they will defend you no matter what, they will protect you no matter what, and they'll put in their efforts to make the relationship work no matter what. And if they love you and somebody is trying to mess with you, somebody is trying to come for you, then that person better watch out because this Panther is gonna go get them. So fiercely loving, fiercely loyal, passionate, very determined, very hard worker. And I get the feeling that this is an all or nothing person. There could be something about polarization here. And I'm not sure if it's like them, I either love you or not, I either love you or I hate you, but like I'm very clear about what I like and what I don't like. They might have that kind of energy to them, or the Panther themselves might be a kind of polarizing person where people either really, really love them or people either really, really don't love them. But there's this kind of polarizing all or nothing energy that I'm picking up on. And this person really does not like people or situations that are half-hearted or flaky or indirect or unclear. So this is not somebody who would like to do like a vague situationship, vague friends with benefits kind of situation. They just can't be in those kind of situations because they want to know, like, is it this or that? This is a very decisive person. And I think when people around them are indecisive or flaky or are not bringing their all, that can kind of frustrate them or that can kind of stress them out. So I guess depending on the types of people that they're with, you could see this person as incredibly like loyal and in it for the long run, or you could see their energy as kind of intimidating. Like if you're not ready to show who you truly are, you're not ready to make a decision, this person's energy could be a bit intense for you, but like they can't help it. That's just how they are. They're going to be direct, they're going to be straightforward, and they know what they want and they know what they expect of you. And if you can't handle that, then don't hang out with the Panther. Now I want to talk about the perception and closure cards. So each of these oracle cards have a story behind them in the guidebook. I have read most of them because sometimes the artwork is not totally intuitive when it comes to what the card is talking about. So the story of this perception card is that this girl was in the garden and it was all like raggedy and run down and, you know, dying. It wasn't looking too good. And then she found this green stone under I think it's like under some branches or under some leaves. And the stone says to go into this door. So she goes into the door and the door shuts behind her. And at first she's really scared, but then the door opens again. And when she comes out, the garden is all pretty and alive again. And so it's this idea of like, if you put effort, and this is a heart chakra. So if you pour your love and your effort into a situation and you don't give up on it, it can make a complete 180. It can come back to life. It can flourish again. And I think that this is very much a person who is like, water your own grass before looking to the greener grass on the other side. Nurture what you have now before running off somewhere else. So that kind of ties in with this person being very loyal and committed. And I really think that they believe like when there's a will, there's a way. And as long as you move with love and as long as you make your decisions with love, you can make anything work out. You can make your dreams come true. You can make a relationship stay together. Like love and will and determination is all you need. And so in a sense, I feel that this person is very pure and almost has like an optimistic or idealistic view to the world, which is really, really sweet. I think everybody should have a best friend like the Panther person, if I'm being honest, because they will make you have hope and faith in humanity again. And you'll always, always feel protected. And I feel like the Panther is someone who makes you want to be a better person. And if you're not ready to be a better person, then you might feel kind of threatened by the Panther, but that's not the Panther's problem. Okay, so then with closure, putting these two together, because perception shows the will to keep fighting for something no matter what. Like as long as the will is there, as long as love is there. And so I think in order for this person, for the Panther to give up on something, they would need to know that they have tried every single way to make it work. And I think they need to be shown very clearly and very directly, like this isn't happening, this isn't going to work, in order for them to walk away. So if they're pursuing a goal, they'll try like every single thing to make it work. And if they're in a connection, if they're in a relationship, this is not the type of person that you can like lead on or string along or be vague with and they'll get the hint. It's like you have to tell this person it's not going to work. They have to know that it's not going to work if they're going to give up. So this person values like, or I should say they need transparency and directness and open communication. And they're gonna keep fighting for what their heart wants until everything has been exhausted. So they have a lot of perseverance in them as well. So moving on now to the turtle person, I feel like this is more of a mellow energy for sure. And it's a bit of, I guess I could say it's a bit of a slower energy. I feel like the panther is very, very clear about what they want and what they expect, whereas the turtle may be still trying to figure out who they really are, what they really want. I am kind of thinking of this stereotypical turtles being like slower, and panthers are pretty fast as well. I feel like it takes the turtle time to figure out what they really want, or it takes them time to come to conclusions about what they should do. And I almost feel like the turtle might be a little bit more of a passive person. But what's interesting is that the turtle as a spirit animal is also about perseverance. It's also about longevity. And so I think the turtle, and actually, yeah, with these two cards here, especially the psychic abilities, I feel like the turtle person is going through an awakening that is going to kick them out of their more passive energy. I do think that it's a very admirable quality to be able to go with the flow and to not be super reactive and to not feel like you have to control everything. But what I would say to the turtle is be careful that you're not just like a bystander in your own life waiting for everything to happen to you. I feel like the turtle can learn a lesson in assertiveness and in decisiveness and in taking initiative. And from the panther, the turtle can learn this from the panther. And I think that the panther can learn from the turtle to slow down and to allow things to unfold naturally and to not need to have all the answers right away and to not need to be in control of everything. It kind of seems like the panther and the turtle are like at either ends of the spectrum in this case, and they can kind of find like a happy middle ground together if they are willing to work together. But what I see with the turtle is that this passiveness that they have is actually a defense mechanism, because it's kind of this thing like, I'm not going to get my hopes up and I'm not going to take action and pour my energy into things so that when it inevitably goes wrong, it doesn't hurt me as much, or I haven't lost as much from it. It's like the turtle's afraid of investing too much of their energy or hope into situations because they might have a little bit of a pessimistic side to them where they just think like it's gonna go wrong anyway, so what's the point? But I feel like this person is going through a little bit of an awakening where they're realizing that perception that they have, that perception or that perspective that they have is not only inaccurate, but it's not helping them in the way that they think it is. In fact, it's robbing them from a lot of amazing experiences, and it's robbing them from a lot of passion. And the more they start to awaken to this, the more they're going to become an active participant in their life. So I want to talk about this abundance card, and I'll tell a story behind this one as well. So In this one, these coins have fallen down the grate. And I don't remember if it's the man who dropped them, but yes, I think it is. And he's like, oh no, I dropped the coins. And he just goes home and wallows in his sorrow that the coins are lost. Then this enterprising little girl comes along and gets a string and some chewing gum and pulls the coins out of the grate, out of the sewer or whatever. And this card is about the coins talking amongst themselves about how happy they are for this little girl that came along, because the coins want to be received. The abundance wants to be received. And so these two people have a completely different perspective. This person says, the coins are in the grate. That means that they don't want me to have them. That means that they're not meant for me. I guess I'm just gonna give up and walk away. The little girl says, these coins are in the grate. That means that with a little creativity and my own willpower, I can bring them back to me. And the coins favor, abundance favors this mindset. And I think that the turtle person has been living in this mindset for a long time. Like, if there's an obstacle, it means that it wasn't meant for me. If it doesn't come to me immediately, I shouldn't bother trying at all. Like, I think this person has been quick to just like dismiss their hopes or give up on things or walk away from things. And they're realizing now that the power is in their perception. Like, in reality, the fact that these coins are down in the grate, it doesn't actually mean anything. It's neutral. It's these two people who assign the meaning. So whether you want to see it as a sign that you're doomed, as a sign that you're on the wrong path, or whether you want to see it as a sign of like, this is an opportunity for me to use a bit of ingenuity. This is an opportunity for me to use my strengths and claim my blessing. That's entirely up to you. They've realized that everything that's happened to them up until now in their life is neutral, and they have the power to assign the meaning of the experience. And when they don't assign any meaning, they're just letting their life pass them by. So as they awaken, they're like, you know what? I'm going to start assigning meanings to my experiences that actually benefit me and that actually make me feel inspired to get off my butt and do something. So they're really starting to create their own reality or get into this idea, kind of taking after the panther, wouldn't you say? So I can definitely see these energies are two ends of a spectrum, and I can definitely see how they could complement each other and learn from each other, or I can see how they stress each other out. But again, that's all depending on their mindset, like if they want to learn from each other or not. So let's take a look at this card in the middle. This is going to represent the energy that exists between the two of you, and we have patience. It makes sense. I feel like these two would need to be patient to learn from each other and grow together. And it has the message of long road ahead, reward awaits. So when it comes to this connection, if I just literally apply this to your connection, seems like it's a long road, but it's worth it. And I just want to read from the guidebook and see what it says, because this is the first time I'm using this deck and I'm just getting acquainted with the cards. So, okay. Patience. Long road ahead, reward awaits. What true patience is knowing that you want it and knowing that it's coming and actually enjoying the unfolding along the way. Grow your patience to grow from your patience. Allow patience to teach you a powerful lesson that you cannot speed up or slow down time. Everything happens in divine timing, and everything is moving at the same pace. No matter how badly you want something, it will arrive when it is meant to. Impatience takes us away from the present moment. It fills our minds with thoughts and wishes of the future and blinds us to how beautiful and special the present is. Return to the present and to yourself. Enjoy the journey, and it will all come to you. If you are feeling impatient with other people, learn to be okay with the fact that we are all living at our own unique paces and we are all on our own unique journeys. And the affirmation says, I trust in divine timing. I am enjoying every bit of the journey to my destination. Wow, I love that card. And I honestly don't feel like there's much that I want to add to that. It's such a beautiful message. And I do feel that this connection will likely be one that does require a lot of divine timing or that does involve a lot of divine timing, and that does require a lot of patience and a lot of willingness to open yourself up and see into the other person's world and understand where they're coming from. Okay, so let's move on to the deep dive section of the reading now. I'm just going to have a sip of water. So, for this part of the reading, we're going to shuffle the tarot and we are going to see your person's current feelings for you, their intentions for this connection moving forward, and any future actions that they will be taking towards you. I feel like that was the first time today that I've done a kind of decent shuffle of this deck. I jinxed it. Okay, so for group 3, how does your person feel about you? We have the 2 of Pentacles, and I will point out as well that this card fell out super, super quickly. We have the 2 of Pentacles and the Chariot. So it's funny because the 2 of Pentacles came out in group 1's reading and the Chariot came out in group 2's reading, but the energy is quite different. So it's funny how that happens. Like the exact same card can come out and it can mean something different. So I want to talk about this 2 of Pentacles first. The thing that really stands out to me about the 2 of Pentacles in this deck is that there are 2 people who are mirroring each other. So this can indicate that there is some mirroring going on. And honestly, I find that more often than not, like when we see 2 energies that are different, it's very much like a yin-yang kind of situation where, like, how can I describe it? Like this person is yang but has the yin hiding within them, and this person is yin but has the yang hiding within them. Like usually when I see things that seem opposite, I'm like, oh, okay, these 2 people are going to be more similar than we think. They just have to look within and they will find the other person inside themselves. You know what I mean? So yeah, with this 2 of Pentacles here, I feel like you guys mirror each other more than what might appear on the surface, or this can be an indication of reciprocity in terms of your feelings for this person, in terms of your desires for this connection, in terms of the future that you envision for yourselves with this person. I could say that that is very much reciprocated by them. And this person currently, they want to be in a harmonious exchange of energy with you. With this card, I think of each counterpart, they're like coming forward and they're each bringing their own coin. They're each bringing their own value to the table. They're each bringing equal effort and equal energy. And this is the type of dynamic that your person wants to be in with you. So if up until now you have felt that this was not the case, this might just be something that they are realizing now, especially if your person is the turtle. I could see how they're slowly starting to realize, like, this is the kind of dynamic I want with you, but I have not been like holding up my end of it out of this fear that we talked about with the abundance card. And actually, I wonder if for many of you, this is them. I know I don't mean to tell you like what's what, but I could see how this abundance card applies to this situation, because it's like when they change their perspective, they realize all along this treasure, aka you and the connection, was right in front of them, and the universe was trying to give it to them. The universe was trying to say, like, take it, take this beautiful connection, or you were trying to say that to them. But because of their mindset, they were only focused on what could go wrong or what had gone wrong. And they only saw the universe trying to take something away. They only saw the negative aspects, and they were afraid of putting their energy into this connection for fear of it not working out. And honestly, and I feel like I say this quite a bit in readings, but if you're afraid of something, all you can really do to get over that fear is to face it and to do it. I feel like you can't overcome your fear by avoiding it or by never interacting with it again. That's not helpful. That's not beneficial. It's like when I had a phobia of cicadas and my solution was to never leave my house. That's not addressing the fear. That's not going to help me live a better life. The only way out of your fear is through it. So I think that's what this person is realizing. And especially because if they feel so strongly about you, it's like, finally, I have a reason to overcome this fear. Like, there's no way. I'm not going to let my stupid fear mess this up. You gave this person like a reason to show their fear who's boss, or like a good enough reason for them to step out and control it. And it was one of my friends posted this on their story the other day. It said, the things you avoid will continue to control you. Or like the things you resist will continue to control you. It was something like that. And if this person keeps living in fear of getting their hopes up and of giving something their all just because it might not work out, where does that put them? They will never get anything in life. And I think they realize that when you care about something enough, it's worth the risk. And you have to take the risk to overcome the fear. That fear might actually never go away, but you can't let that stop you from living your life. So I feel like how they're currently feeling, they're ready to seize this opportunity. They're ready to grab this opportunity by the horns, if you will. And with the Chariot, they're ready for forward motion and to really put in their equal effort and their equal energy into this connection. They're ready to move forward. The Chariot's also about like breakthroughs, victory, success, fast progress. Like a situation that was once stagnant is suddenly progressing very quickly. Blockages being removed, going with your gut, being bold, taking a risk. Like, this is what they're ready for. This is kind of reading like their intentions, even though this part is supposed to be about their feelings. So maybe this is a sign that they're like acting on these intentions quite soon. And with the Chariot here as well, they're not pictured in this deck, but usually there's like a white creature and a black creature. Sometimes it's a Sphinx, sometimes it's a horse, sometimes it's other stuff, who are guiding the Chariot. And you can think of this as yin and yang energy, but you can also think of it as like the duality of the situation. Whether this goes well or not, I'm still going to move forward. And I think that finally their head and their heart are on the same page with this. Like, their heart has wanted to come forward and run to you since the beginning. Their heart has always been on that vibe, but it's their head that is like, nah, because we might get hurt, we might mess it up. It's their head that has been holding back. But now their head even realizes logically, when you really think about this situation, it is not productive to avoid your fears and let them control you forever. That's not logical. So now for them, it's only logical to follow their heart. It's only logical to overcome this fear. And like nothing can tell them otherwise. Their head and their heart are on the same page. And maybe the Two of Pentacles is a bit of that as well. With this mirroring and this reciprocity, this can also be talking about where they're at in their head and where they're at in their heart are finally seeing eye to eye. The Two of Pentacles is also about like balancing and prioritizing both things. So they're ready for it. They're ready to move forward. So let's see. I feel like we kind of spoke about their intentions here, so we'll just pull the next two cards to see any other details that you should know about in terms of their feelings and intentions towards you. Ooh. We have the Queen of Pentacles and the Seven of Cups. Okay, it's funny because I was gonna say like with the Chariot card, because it's like the sign of Cancer, it's very intuitive, and there's what looks like a moon in the back. I was gonna say like, oh, maybe your person is dreaming about you, but then I didn't say it. I don't know why I do that sometimes. It's like sometimes the message is just like not strong enough for me to say it, and then it comes out again. But with the Seven of Cups, I would say that this person dreams about you. That is definitely one meaning that I assign to the Seven of Cups. And the way you're like a god or a goddess, like when you come to them in their dreams, or like an angel, you just look like this heavenly, ethereal being to them. And I think that's just how they see you in general. But with the Queen of Pentacles, this is a sign that this person thinks very, very highly of you. They have immense respect for you. They think that you deserve the best in this world. Like everything this world has to offer, you deserve it. They want you to achieve all of your dreams, and they believe that you can. They just want you to have it all in this life. And they know that you're going to achieve great things. And I also think with the Queen of Pentacles, this is like wifey slash spouse slash long-term partner material. Like this is the type of person you take home to your family. This is the type of person you spend your life with, the type of person that you commit to in the long term. This is how they see you. They see you as someone that you keep around for a long time, and someone that if they did have you, or if they do have you, they want to treasure you and cherish you and honor you and like treat you like the royalty that the Queen of Pentacles is. And I also think there's a message in here that this person really, really admires your kind, warm, and caring heart. They think that you're very generous. They admire that you're very accepting and patient and tolerant of others. Basically, they think that you have a heart of gold, and there's something about your energy that makes this person feel very calm and stable, and like everything is going to be okay. If this person ever gets like anxious or worried about something, if they talk to you or see you or just think about you, honestly, they start to calm down. Like, and the way it's coming to me is like, if someone like you can exist in this world, then this world must not be that bad. It's something like that. Or like, if I was able to bump into you in my life, I must be doing something right. This is kind of how, it's like a comfort that everything's going to be okay. It's what you bring to them. With the Seven of Cups, I feel like sometimes they can get flustered or overwhelmed around you. If this person has ever behaved strangely around you, given you some kind of mixed signals, or said something that was kind of weird, they likely were just so flustered by your beauty and how much they care about you. And they might feel actually like they kind of act out of character when they're around you, or like their innermost self jumps out when they're around you, which is not what they're used to, because they're used to kind of having it all under wraps and having a persona. But you can kind of see right through that. And there's also the words like no contest are coming. Like there's no contest, there's no competition. Maybe some of you guys are worried like, oh, they must think other people are more attractive than me, or they must compare me to other people, or something like that. Or you just think that someone else could take them in the same way that you have, but they are very taken by you, and it's no contest. That's the way this is coming out. That's really sweet. We have two number 7s here, and they're both watery cards, so maybe someone's like a July born Cancer or something like that. Or the number 7 is significant. If you have been like physically involved with this person, then I feel like that was very like out of this world for them. Like very just like breathtaking. Or if you haven't, they might fantasize about that a lot, about being with you in that way. So a couple cards for their future actions towards you. We have the Page of Wands I feel like for many of you, of course, like it's your call. It very much depends on your unique situation. But I'm getting really strong turtle vibes from your person. Like I can see how they would resonate a lot with the turtle. But again, or like you could see both of you guys on both sides. There's Page of Wands and there's King of Swords. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is that this person has been guarded with their emotions for so long that they don't really know how to express them, but that's not going to stop them from trying. And that's what is so cute, and that's what's making me giggle, because, you know, sometimes we'll see the energy of someone who is like, they're very guarded, they don't know how to express themselves, they don't know how to be vulnerable, but we kind of see them like off to themselves, figuring it out until they get it right, like figuring out how they want to come forward, which is respectable and which is totally up to every person to choose how to navigate it. But with this Chariot, there was that feeling of like, this could go badly, this could go poorly, but I'm just gonna do it. Because like, it's almost like they're getting hit by a divine truck and they're getting a wake-up call and they're like, I don't wanna lose this. And if you are resonating with the Panther, then they, you know, if they know about you, you like things to be clear cut. They're like, I don't wanna waste their time because I know how I feel. So they have this like go time kind of energy to them. And so the way I see them is like, oh, and by the way, I don't want you guys to feel like you're stressing this person out or rushing them or anything like that. They want to do this. They want to kick their fears ass and they want to overcome this like passive energy that they've been in. I think they feel like it's long overdue. So they're like, they've been very guarded, they've been very stoic. That's a good word for the King of Swords. And this duality is just so funny because this is someone who really like keeps it together, who's very stoic, and this is like an impulsive kid who just lets their emotions and passion fly out. So even though they're not really sure how to express their feelings, even though they haven't really worked through the complexities of it and the details of it and the intricacies, they're just gonna come forward to you with something. So with the Page of Wands here, you know, there's gonna be a lot of passion and desire in the way they come forward to you. But it's not gonna feel very planned out because it's not. It might be kind of awkward. It might be kind of sudden. It might be like, why are you telling me this now? Like the time or the place or the environment or the way they come forward is like, really? Have you done this before? But it's sweet. Like it's very sweet. I think when it comes to saying how they feel, they're just gonna wing it. Or they like planned what they were gonna say to you, but then when it comes time to actually say it, all of that goes out the window. You know how it is. When you're like really nervous, you're like, oop, I forgot my notes. I'm saying something completely different now. So, you know, it's kind of like impromptu, but you might have to like help them along a little bit is the way it's coming through. And if this is something that you guys want, it is quite likely that this, I guess you could call it a confession or like a coming forward on their end, could lead to your first or another intimate physical encounter, because they have a lot of like adrenaline and a lot of passion flowing and they just find you so attractive. So it could definitely end in that. I feel like when it comes to like, if you were to have a talk about where this relationship is going to go in the long term and putting a label on it and everything like that, that might be a conversation for another occasion, is kind of what it feels like. So I don't know, if I could just give an example, like this person calls you spontaneously and then you go over to their place and then they spill all this stuff, like they tell you all this stuff and then you like spend the night together. Maybe like you know, after you've like cooled down from this passionate encounter, maybe the next day or something like that, or the next time you talk, that's when you can like, when they can, you know, talk about it more rationally and stuff. But definitely the doorway is being opened for you guys to explore things further. So, oh, that's really nice. So we're going to move on now to the part of the reading where we get messages from your person's higher self. Okay, so for group 3, what would your person's higher self like to say to you? Courage. Fear is natural. It invites us to be brave, accept and face what scares you. Exactly. This is exactly what they are planning to do, or this is exactly what they are realizing that they need to do. If you feel any mirroring going on in this reading, or you feel like this might be a message for you in some area of your life, whether it is this connection or something else, please feel free to claim this. Whatever you guys are going through, whatever you guys are afraid of, a big takeaway from this reading is that it's normal to be scared, but it's not okay to let the fear stop you from living your life. And unfortunately, I don't know any way of overcoming a fear that involves avoiding it for the rest of your life. So whether you're afraid to pursue your dream or tell somebody how you feel, go live your best life or show off your self. I don't know what I'm saying. Whatever you're afraid of, you just gotta face it. And it's gonna be uncomfortable, but you can do it. Ooh, and you guys got 3. Everybody else has gotten 2 so far. So your person's higher self is a chatty one. I'm just kidding. It's only 1 extra card. Or maybe they are chatty. Maybe they talk to you a lot. Endings always come with new beginnings. And I am the source of my joy. I create my happy ever after. I feel like maybe you guys are about to go through some kind of tower moment in your life. I'm honestly not even sure if this is about the relationship, if I'm being honest with you, but just their higher self lovingly coming through to let you know, I'm here for you. I'm always here to guide you. I'm always here to support you. I talk to you all the time, whether you realize it or not. Something is falling away from your life that took away your freedom, or that took away your control to determine how you live your life. Something that was restricting you, something that was suppressing you. Could be like a job or a place you were living. And it could be scary when this thing falls away, but then you realize all the power is in your hands. I can do whatever I want now. I can build up my new life exactly how I want it now. And I'm not scared because I want this thing back that fell away. I'm just scared of the freedom. I'm scared because like it's all on me now and I choose what to do. And that's never happened to me before. I feel like somebody is going through this kind of chapter in their life right now. So let's get a couple cards from your angels or from your spirit guides. We have Topaz, forgiveness heals. Time to release repressed anger as it's blocking your health and happiness. So some of you guys are getting out of... I feel like for many it's like, it could be like a career situation or a family situation or a living situation you guys are getting out of where... I'm sorry, I don't feel like this is about the connection. I just think your person's higher self really loves you and your angels really love you and they just want to help you out with this thing that you're going through. It's like you were in a situation that was toxic, but when you were in it, it was hard to realize how toxic it was. And it can be jarring when that thing falls away from your life. But once you get a taste of your freedom again, and once you get a taste of being in charge of your life again, you realize how toxic your previous situation was, and also how scary it is that you were even wanting to go back to it. So you're breaking free from something big here. You're breaking free from something big, and you are creating your own joy now. And I think this forgiveness heals card may be coming up just because some unresolved anger or resentment that you have towards that past toxic situation might come bubbling up. We have passion and purpose. Your enthusiasm gives you energy and motivation to work on a meaningful project that's dear to your heart. There's something that's been blocking you guys from pursuing your passions and living your life in the way that you want to, and that's being knocked down with the help of your person's higher self and with the help of your guides and angels. And at this time, you guys may be wanting to like move towards this person or creating a union with this person, but their higher self and your angels are saying, please take care of yourself. And their higher self is saying, I'm not going anywhere. You have to deal with this transition. You have to find your way and start pursuing your passion, and I will be waiting for you. Please know that I'm not going to go anywhere. I promise I'm not going to go anywhere. This person's higher self is incredibly loyal to you. And I almost feel, I'm not going to cry, but I feel that emotion in me of like being moved to tears by the pure sweetness of it. They're so, so loyal to you, and almost like a guardian, like a guide or like a guardian angel to you. They're saying, take care of yourself first. I will not go anywhere. I will be waiting for you. But you need to get on the right track to your joy and to your passion. And you need to process the emotions from this cycle that you're leaving behind. And I will be with you. I'll be with you in spirit the whole way. I already am. They're talkative, like I said. They're always talking to you, always sending you messages, always sending you love. Okay, so this is all I see for you guys. I'm going to end the reading here. Thank you very, very much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. I also have a Patreon, so if you guys are interested in seeing even more exclusive pick-a-cards where you get to choose the topic, that will be linked down below too. I'm sending you guys lots of love, sending your person lots of love, sending your guides and angels lots of love, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi number 4s, so if you guys chose the black tourmaline, this is going to be a reading all about how the person you are thinking of, aka your person, is feeling about you. So just in case you didn't see the intro, the breakdown of this reading is you versus them energy check. A deep dive into their feelings for you currently, their intentions for this connection moving forward, and any future actions that they may be taking towards you, messages from your person's higher self, and advice from your spirit guides. So we're going to start with the energy check, and this card that we have right here is going to represent the energy that exists between you and your person. But before we take a look at this one, we are going to look at some oracle cards to see both of your individual energies and where you're at in this connection. And I'm going to be doing this part of the reading in a person A, person B style, meaning I'm not going to say this one is you and this one is your person, but I will describe both of the energies, and then you guys can determine if it's resonating more for you or resonating more for them. You might find while listening to the descriptions that they kind of both sound like you. If you resonate with both sides, that's totally normal. It likely just means that you and your person are mirroring each other very closely. However, if you find that neither of them are really resonating for either of you, then that might be an indication that you want to consider choosing another pile. So let's get right into it, starting with the energy of person A. So first we have the fish, healing, and joy. And then for person B's energy, we have the bat, dreams, and impartiality. Okay, so as I read through these cards, of course, the messages that come through are the most important for determining which one is you and which one is your person. But I also want to point out the zodiac signs that are present here, as well as significant letters, as these may also be little hints to help you. So on the fish side, we do have the element of water, so Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, and we also have this card which is related to the solar plexus, which is related to the element of fire, so Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Then on the side of person B, with the bat, we have the element of air, so Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And then this card is related to the crown chakra, which actually is not associated with an earthly element. It's like cosmic energy. So on this side, we just have air signs. And then as for significant letters, which could be like initials of you or your person, I'm going to look at the first and last letter on the cards, because you guys might know that sometimes I check the first letter on oracle cards, but then I realize that that's not really like a fair way to do it, because there are some letters that just don't really show up at the beginning of English words. And so I wasn't really getting a good enough variety. So that's why I started doing first and last. So on person A's side, we have J, Y, H, G, and F. And on person B's side, we have B, T, D, S, and I. So now let's get into the meanings of the energy on each side. So one thing that I actually want to point out is that regardless of the zodiac placements of you or your person, I'm kind of getting Pisces energy from both of these sides. Obviously with the fish, that's kind of a giveaway, like Pisces being related to the fish. And then we even have a moon here, and the moon card in tarot is related to Piscean energy. This one might be a little bit more obvious, but with the bat as well, the bat actually makes me think of the Hanged Man, because of how bats like hang upside down. And I think it's in the Spirit Animal deck by Colette Baron-Reid, where the bat card is actually like a bat hanging upside down like that. And I think that was the first thing that made me think like, ooh, bats are kind of like the Hanged Man. And then there's also like a big freaking moon in the background as well. So even though the bat is related to the element of air, I do kind of feel Piscean energy from this. So it could be that that's a dominant energy in you or your person's chart, or it could be implying that this is a heavily spiritual connection. And this is actually the first pile, like of all of them, where I feel inclined to speak about soul ties and soul connections and things like that. I would say that you guys are very closely linked in the 5D. And in fact, this is also the first pile where I'm wondering if like many people who chose this group don't have such a close connection to their person in the 3D, at least yet, but feel very, very connected in the 5D. That could also be why so much Pisces energy is showing up here. But I think that the fish and the bat represent like very different aspects of the Piscean energy. So we'll get a little bit into that. And I'm going to start over here with the fish. So the fish is reminding me more of like the moon, the moon side of Pisces energy. This is going to be somebody who is incredibly creative, artistic, sensitive, a very gentle soul. They can be quite delicate or fragile at times. They can be quite impressionable at times, and they can get lost in their feelings quite easily. This is someone who's very dreamy. And when their energy is channeled in a constructive way, they can be incredibly talented. They can be people who make their wildest dreams into a reality. But when they're struggling, they can really get swept away by their feelings. They can really get carried away. This is somebody who, like I said, is very sensitive, and they're also likely highly empathic. So it's like they're dealing with their own emotions. They're dealing with the emotions of the people around them, and they can just get very overwhelmed. This is someone who feels very hard, and I think this is also someone who falls in love very hard. And I think it's interesting that the fish is actually turned away from the bat, the way the cards came out, because the fish might be pulling away from the bat a little bit right now. And this is not, this is nothing to do with like the fish not feeling for the bat. In fact, I think it's quite the opposite. I think that the fish is overwhelmed with how strongly they feel for the bat, and they realize like maybe this is a bit much, or maybe even for some of the fish, like this is actually not healthy. Like I got way too swept up in this connection. I was romanticizing this person way too much. Maybe the fish started to feel like their happiness was depending on the bat, or like major decisions they were making in their life was depending on the bat. And they were like, I can't be attached to somebody so much like this. Or maybe they were, you know, getting very up in the 5D, and it was hard for them to come back to earth and look at the connection from a practical perspective. And I think that the fish person is taking some time to do a little bit of healing and figure out what was going on in this connection that made them feel so intensely, and that made them so emotional. And again, I don't think it's really that the fish wants to pull away from the bat. Like it's no hard feelings or no anything like that towards the bat person. It's just very much like a personal thing that they're going through. Like, whoa, I really got carried away here. I really, really got in my head here, and I need to be more grounded. You know, if I want to maintain my own peace and my own mental health and my own security, and if I want this connection to thrive and to last for a long time, I need to ground myself. And I think what the fish person is realizing, or has realized, or will realize, I'm not sure what the timeline is here, but I think the fish person, and it's quite sad to say it, but I think the fish person was like struggling to find joy in their life, or struggling to find fulfillment in their life, so that when they met this bat person who is so amazing to them, it was like the one thing, or the one thing that brought them joy. And then they put all of their eggs into the bat's basket, and they like clinged onto the bat. And I think the fish person realized that that was not a healthy thing to do. It wasn't fair to the bat, and it wasn't fair to themselves either, because they were cheating themselves of like finding joy elsewhere, or finding joy within themselves. So I think what we see here is like the fish turning away from the bat on a quest to find joy within themselves and to find joy within their own life. And I don't think, honestly, I'm not sure where the fish is at right now, but I think they have the awareness that like the issue is not with the bat, and it's not like I'm supposed to throw the bat away, or the bat isn't good for me, or anything like that. It's just the bat came into my life to show me something, and I gotta focus on this right now. So this fish person is very, very wise. They're focusing on their healing right now, and they're focusing on cultivating joy by themselves in their own life, and not putting all of their like promises of happiness into the bat, or into the connection with the bat. So this is where they're at right now. When it comes to the bat person, so both of these people I think are very much feeling a spiritual connection. And I think both people are actually aware of it, which is kind of interesting, because I feel like normally we see one person is more awake, or, oh, the camera just went to 11:11, like the timer is 11:11. This is interesting because, you know, often we see like one person is more awake to the spiritual side of the connection. There's one person who's like seeing the signs and picking up on the other's energy. But in this spread, I feel like it's very much happening on both ends. So the bat person is also, the bat person is also aware of the spiritual connection, but they are coming through as more the hanged man aspect of Piscean energy. So they see that the connection is what it is, but they're not assigning a label to it just yet. They're not getting like in their head or stress about it. They're hanging, like the hanged man. They're waiting to see what happens. And they're okay with whatever happens. And I'm also thinking of how like the bat is blind or it has really bad eyesight, so they have to use like other senses to figure things out. I think this bat is just very open to what their sixth senses, so to speak, are showing them about the fish person right now. I think the bat is dreaming about the fish person a lot and is just like quietly observing and taking notes about what's going on, not necessarily seeking for answers, but letting the answers come to them. And I think that's the biggest difference here. I think the fish person was getting overwhelmed because like, if they had a dream about the bat person, they would be like, oh my gosh, what does it mean? And they would like go and ask their cards or ask their friends or figure out, what am I supposed to do about this? Feeling this stress or feeling some burden of like, I need to make something happen with the information that I'm receiving, or I need to put some label or some meaning on the information I'm receiving, but I don't know what to do. And so the fish is struggling because of that. Whereas the bat is just like observing, is just like peacefully observing what's happening and is not really pressed about like, why am I dreaming about the fish? Is the fish my soulmate? Am I supposed to take action towards the fish? Are we meant to be together? It's like the bat's just watching. Like, ooh, interesting. I saw the fish again. The bat may even actually be like taking notes of the dreams they're having, taking notes of the signs. And they're kind of like looking forward to see what happens of this connection, but also they don't feel like it's their job to figure it out. I honestly feel wisdom on both of these ends. The fish has the wisdom to know when it's time to heal and know when it's time to step back and when it's time to look within. The bat person knows when it's time to just like let go because, oh, this is not my job. This is the universe's job. And the same way the fish is turning away, the bat person is looking forward. And when an animal in this deck is looking forward, I think of it as like, I'm not gonna move in one way or another. I'm staying open right now. I think the bat person is very open to whatever this connection is, or for whatever reason, they're receiving all these signs and dreams and synchronicities and messages from the fish person. Whereas I feel like the fish person is more stressing to find the meaning. Oh my gosh. Tina just jumped from the floor up onto my shoulder. Tina is also a Pisces, by the way, so maybe that's why she came to say hello. She's like, are you talking about me? Hi, Tootie. So yeah, and actually, I think that's why this impartiality is here. It makes a lot of sense. Like just this openness, this can go either way. This is related to the crown chakra, like I said. So honestly, I feel like the bat person is picking up on a ton of psychic messages, a ton of psychic insights about this connection, but they're just enjoying it at the moment. And the bat really sees the fish as their equal from a spiritual perspective. The bat sees the fish person as their counterpart, regardless of what you guys are doing in the 3D, like how earthly society would rank you or what your relationship is like in the 3D. I think the bat really feels like this is my companion in some way or another. This is my person. This is my equal in some way or another. This is really cool. The energy of this group is really, really cool. So now let's take a look at this card in the middle, which is going to represent the energy that exists between the two of you. And we have trust, faith in the power of the universe. Yeah, there's definitely something divine at work here. So I'm going to actually read from the guidebook because this is the first time that I'm using this deck and I'm just still getting kind of acquainted with all of the cards. So with trust, it says, when we surrender our will to the power of the universe, we receive miracles. If you are seeing this card, this is the time to step aside and fully trust that the universe will make what you want happen. Not everything is in your control. In fact, most things aren't. Yes, the bat knows this. Therefore, it is important to have trust that everything happening in your life is happening for your ultimate growth. Every single challenge is put in your life by the universe to help you grow wiser. Think about every single thing you went through and how it changed you. Sometimes things happen when we put all of our energy into them, and sometimes things happen when we simply let go and allow the universe to take the lead. Trust that the universe always has your highest and best interests at heart. And then your affirmation is, I am divinely guided, I am loved and supported by the universe. I also want to say she did not do this in the other piles. She made like a brief appearance in pile 3, but here she's like jumping up, she's walking back and forth, she's reading the guidebook with me, she's licking me. I think Tina really, really likes you guys. I think Tina really likes your energy. So whichever side you guys resonate with, or maybe you're a little bit of both. Maybe some days you feel like the fish and some days you feel like the bat. And honestly, that's probably the most accurate way to interpret this. Because aren't we all sometimes like the fish and sometimes like the bat? And this connection might be one that is a little weird to wrap your head around, but trust in the universe. The universe brought you guys to each other for a reason, but the universe is not done yet. So don't stress about what you need to do. It will be shown to you. And especially if you have no idea like how this is all going to come together, sit back, relax, and let the universe do her thing. Easier said than done, but very, very crucial. So let's move on now to the deep dive part of this reading. We are going to take a deep dive into your person's feelings for you currently, their intentions for this connection moving forward, and any future actions that they will be taking towards you. So for group 4, how is your person feeling about you? Ooh, we have the Knight of Cups. And we have the 5 of Wands. So it's interesting too how they came out, where it's like the Knight of Cups is walking towards you, but then gets stopped by the 5 of Wands. So I will say definitely with the Knight of Cups that there are romantic feelings here. I think it's very, very interesting. And I don't think I've ever spoken about this in this card before, but it's really calling to me this time. It's really interesting to me that, sorry, I'm getting like a physical sensation. This is going to sound kind of weird, but sometimes when I'm feeling insecure about myself or when I'm lacking confidence and I observe those thoughts, my hands and my forearms start like tingling or having a twinging sensation in them. Maybe it's like my nervous system doing something because I feel like anxious, but I just got a really strong tingling feeling like all along here. So that could, maybe this person has some feelings of insecurity, or both of you, when it comes to this connection. But I was gonna say, I think it's very interesting how we have the full moon, which does represent, very strong or very powerful feelings. But in this deck, half of it is still like covered by the fog, and it looks like it's just starting to come out. So I feel like this person definitely knows that they have feelings for you, but they haven't really uncovered the depth of them just yet. This is all very new to them, like feeling so strongly about somebody, and maybe even romance in general. Like maybe this person hasn't had a lot of experience in relationships, or the relationships they've had in the past maybe weren't really like deep love, or maybe they've just been focused on their career more so than emotional pursuits. There's kind of this feeling of them stepping into uncharted territory, but they are welcoming it, like they're excited about it, and they're just still in the process of uncovering like just how deeply they feel for you. What I can say is that they have a lot of compassion and empathy towards you, whether that's like empath in the psychic way or not. It's like when they see that you are joyful, that brings them a lot of joy. When they see that you're going through pain, that brings them pain. And then there's like a natural inclination that they have to want to fix it or to want to help you. This person wants to help and support you in any way that they can. whether it be supporting you emotionally or helping you to achieve your dreams. Like they want to be there for you and make things easier for you. And I also feel a lot of gratitude in this card as well. This person is very grateful for your existence just in general. Like you don't have to do anything, just thank you for existing. Thank you for being alive. If this is somebody you know and have been involved with in any capacity in the 3D, I think they're very grateful for you being there for them. And actually, even if you're just popping up in their dreams, like, you know, thank you for coming to my dream today too. That's what they might say, like when they wake up, you know. That sounds kind of weird, but like, thank you for today again, or something like that. And also, I'm looking at this river that is passing through this kind of dry looking desert terrain. And there's something maybe about you that is like an oasis to them, that is refreshing to them, whether you are different from anybody they've ever met or your outlook on life is different. It's like you bring them something they didn't know they needed. That's how it's coming through. You bring them a perspective they didn't know they needed to see, or you bring them a hope they didn't know that their heart was longing for. There's something like different and new and refreshing about you. And yeah, they're just in the process of exploring these feelings, even just with this being the Knight of Cups. You know, I would think of the Page of Cups as the least evolved, as just recognizing that these feelings are there. But once he gets on his horse and becomes a knight, this is where he's like, I'm ready to explore. I'm ready to see where these feelings will take me. So this is not just somebody who has these feelings and is not going to do anything about them. Like they really do plan to explore them further and to do something about it. Now, we have the Five of Wands that this knight is coming up to. And the Five of Wands does indicate some kind of conflict or some kind of competition. So there's something stopping this person from coming forward right now. It's interesting that I felt that like tingle in my hand and forearm that I associate with a feeling of insecurity, because it could be that at least in the 3D, this person doesn't feel like good enough for you, or they feel like that you are out of their league. With the Five of Wands being about competition, maybe it's like you're with someone else or they're with someone else, or they think you're with someone else, or they think you have a ton of other options. There's even 3 people in this card, so there could be like a third party that is blocking, somebody that they're jealous of, or something like that. And actually, looking at this Saturn, the huge Saturn in the background, this could be like parents and family. Maybe, you know, there was that message about you guys. Can you hear Tina playing? I feel like you guys and Tina are cool, so normally I would like move her, but I feel like, I hope you guys like her. Well, how could you not? I'll just let her play, and then you might hear some little tinkling noises in the background. So yeah, this could be like parents and family as well. There was that message coming through of you guys being very different and refreshing to them. Maybe you are different from the type of person that their family wants for them, or you're from a different background or something like that. And, you know, it's tricky. Even when we know better, we know we should go with what our heart wants, it's still something that can be kind of scary to like stand up to the people who raised us, or to like disobey them or something like that. And it really depends on your culture as well, because I think that varies like from culture to culture, from country to country, the sense of like children need to be faithful to their parents, children need to obey their parents. I feel like speaking as like a North American, I feel like we might be pretty lax with that. Again, it depends on the family, but depending on how you were brought up, that might be really, really important. And it might be quite like outrageous to go against what your family wants for you. So that might be something that's blocking them. Or this can also talk about their responsibilities, because Saturn is disciplined, responsible, hardworking. Again, it could be like they're so busy at their work, they don't know if they can be there for you in the way that you deserve, or something like that. This can be so many different things, but at this time, because this is just the current energy, They are feeling very sweet and lovey-dovey about you, but it's just kind of difficult to come forward right now for whatever reason. Okay, so we're gonna take a couple cards now to... Tilly, are you feeling playful? Sorry, I just moved the toy. I can't tell like if it's gonna be disruptive or if it's cute or what, so let's shuffle now and see what this person's intentions are when it comes to this connection, because we do have a little bit of conflict here with the Five of Wands, and the star just came out, which means that this person has hope. They know that it's gonna work out some way. And it's interesting that this is a major arcana, because sometimes I think of major arcanas as like things that happen to us or like major events. And so it's almost like your person is saying, even though I might not have a plan right now, I intend for things to work out. Like I just know that it's gonna work out. My partner, actually, who is an Aquarius, and this is Aquarius, says to me like, there's nothing in life that doesn't work out. Like everything is gonna work out some way. And I feel like this is really how your person is feeling. I feel that they are not scared of this blockage or this conflict. They may not know what to do about it right now, but they just know that it's gonna work out in some way. So I think that they might be a little bit sad that they haven't figured out how to come forward to you in the way that they want to, but they're not worried about it in terms of the long-term future, because the star is all about miracles happening. The star is about the future being bright. The star is about your wildest wishes coming true. This person really, really wishes to be with you, and they're not going to give up so easily. Like something like this, this Five of Wands cannot stop them. If they have to, they can just run over everybody with their horse. Obviously, that's like an extreme last resort measure, and they're just hanging back right now because maybe they don't need to run over everybody with their horse. Maybe the universe is going to come through and move some things around and make the situation better. So I think that's what they're hoping for right now. That's what they are trusting is going to happen. But yeah, they're hopeful. They're optimistic about the future with you. They dream about a future with you. They're not going to give up. What else can you show us about Group 4's person's intentions? I'm noticing that the deck is like kind of moving out in all different directions. It's a little bit hard to hold, almost as if this person is trying to deliberate about what they should do and how they can overcome this Five of Wands and how they can make everything work out. I think they're thinking about it quite a bit, and like asking the universe to show them what the best way is. Almost like, because finding a way to be with you would be like answering their prayer. So it's like they want the universe to answer them. And this is really sweet, but there's something about like the joy that they would feel if you can come together that would just like flood out to the rest of the world. Like the joy that you would feel together is going to be infectious, and it's going to spread like to your friends, to your community. And this person may have even said something to the universe, like, if you grant this wish for me, like, I promise I will help other people, or I'll do my best to be a good person. Like almost like kind of bargaining with the universe. And then we have the Four of Pentacles. Yeah, so this person is not letting go. And that's exactly what I was saying. They're not letting go. They're not giving up. And this is such a literal depiction of that, because the Four of Pentacles is all about clutching onto something tightly. And I would say rather than being afraid to lose it, it's like refusing to lose it. Like, I'm not letting go. If you if you ever decided that you want this person to like leave you alone, you'd have to do some real cord cutting because they're not going anywhere. And I think it's so cool actually, because when this card comes out, I very often mention the stars on this person's face, and I say like, this reminds me of the star in tarot, and this person isn't letting go because like they have hope for the future. And so it's so interesting that now the Four of Pentacles and the star are coming out together. It's like, I have hope for the future with you and I'm not letting go. And it's in the Shadowscapes Tarot where the Four of Pentacles, and I think some other decks as well, where the Four of Pentacles is depicted as a dragon holding on to their treasure. So this person really sees you as a very valuable treasure. They clearly, whichever side they're on, or if they're on both, they clearly recognize that you were brought into their life by the divine for a reason. Even if they don't know what it is, they're not going to give up. And I often think of the Four of Pentacles as well. It's like there's a divine plan for you. There's an angelic plan for you, and everything is going according to plan. I think what's really amazing is that your person is not like resisting this conflict or trying to rush things or trying to force things, because they're very wise, and I think they're highly spiritual in some way or another, and likely have the awareness that this Five of Wands is also here for a reason. Like, it's going to end up being a blessing in disguise, or it's going to end up being a very, very important lesson in some way or another. And it's funny because when I just said that, the camera was, it said 3333. So it's happening for your expansion. It's happening for your growth. And maybe that's why they're not fighting it so much. Like, if the universe put this in my path, it must be there for a reason. And I know that I will figure out that reason, and I know that I'll figure out how to move past it. So I don't feel like forcing or rushing things, like if it's not right, if it doesn't feel right just yet. So, but they feel protected. Your connection is protected. Now we're going to take a couple cards for the future actions towards you, and we have the Queen of Pentacles. This is really, really cool. Queen of Pentacles, and let's get one more. And the Universe, which is the World in traditional tarot. Some of you guys might know, for me, like all of last year, all of this year, the World was my 2021 card because it's the card number 21. So if you are watching this in the year 2021, I think that there could be some motion in this connection or some development in this connection by the end of this year. And actually, if you're watching this in 2022, no worries. Just move that message on over. I think something is going to be happening within this current year for you guys. And actually, the World is about things coming to completion. So this might finally be like the final form of the union that you guys have been waiting for, or the meeting in person, or whatever it is that you guys have been wishing and hoping for. Maybe like one of you guys is traveling to see the other person, because with this being the World, that can talk about travel and foreigners and things like that. And there was a message here about like you guys maybe being different, like different backgrounds, different places, or something like that. So whatever, you guys are going to travel any distances that need to be traveled, whether it's like literal physical distance or emotional distance, or making it past this blockage, and you're going to reach this victory. You're going to reach this completion and this fulfillment within a year. I'm going to say that. I don't think I gave time frames for the other groups, but I feel like saying for you guys within a year, with something important happening very soon. With the Queen of Pentacles, the reason I think this is so cool is because in a different group, I forget which one it was now, but they had the Page of Pentacles come out here. And so I was thinking like it's an offer, but it's a small offer, because, you know, the page is like the least evolved court card. And I said in that pile, if this was like the King of Pentacles or something like that, I would think of it as a big offer. And then you guys got the big offer. This is the Queen, not the King, but to me they're equal in terms of like evolvedness. I would think of it as like page, knight, and then queen and king together at the top. So this is a big offer. And maybe with the universe being about completion, it's like, it's the whole package. It's everything that you have wanted with this person, everything that you have wanted from this connection. They're bringing that to you. They're offering that to you. The Queen of Pentacles is a long-term offer. It's a 3D physical offer. I feel like I should specify that because it is related to pentacles and the element of earth. It's something grounded. It's something tangible. So, you know, like for example, if I was reading this as your person is going to tell you they love you, this isn't like you have a dream about them and they say I love you, or like you're thinking about them and then you look up and it says I love you on a billboard, because like that's not tangible. That's not, whoa, that was a really violent punch. I don't know why I did that. Maybe your guides are just really, really adamant to tell you like this connection is meant to be experienced in the flesh, on earth, in person, in real life. You're meant to be able to wake up next to it and come home to it and touch it and have it for real. But yes, this person thinks so highly of you. They see you as long-term partner material, even as spouse material, and they want to lock this in is the way it's coming to me, or like secure this connection. And I would say that you guys are going to have a pretty wealthy future together, because the world can talk about like achievements, abundance, rising to prominence. It's about travel. So, you know, if you have the means to travel the world, then you're doing pretty well for yourself. And then the Queen of Pentacles, of course, she's the queen of money. So I think there's a very abundant future ahead for you guys. And I think in general, you're going to achieve everything that you want to achieve within this connection and outside of it as well. Because on the fish side, it's like, there was a message about you guys really finding your joy, really finding what lights you up, and moving towards something just for you, like just for your own passion. Whew, I love this pile. So I don't want this one to be over. It's so nice. Now we're gonna get some messages from your person's higher self. So let's see what they would like to tell you. This came out for another group as well. Cleanse, you are water. Cry, sweat, drink, soak, swim to refresh. It's funny that we have this message that is all about like cleansing in water, when I just feel so much like watery Piscean energy in you guys. What else did we have? We had air signs here. More water with the Knight of Cups, and then we have Aquarius with the Star, and we have Earth with the Queen of Pentacles. So it's a good balance, but it looks like water is the most dominant here. I guess I can interpret this in the same way as I did for the other group. It's pretty straightforward. This is like your person's higher self encouraging you to explore like healing and cleansing through water. So they might want you to take a healing bath. I don't know if you guys have ever done this before, but you just put like, you can put like salt or a bath bomb or whatever you want to put in the bath, and then put both of your hands above the water and like bless the bath. And you can set the intention for it to be healing. You can set the intention for it to cleanse you of negative energy. And then when you drain the water, imagine all of the bullshit like going down the drain. Like it's been soaked out of you in the bath and now it's all going down the drain. Or if you are around somewhere where it's like warm enough to swim in an ocean or a lake or something, that could also be a really powerful way to cleanse as well. And also for some reason with this group, I'm thinking of hot springs, which did not come up in the other group. But hot springs might be really healing for you guys. And even if like it's cold at the time that you're watching this and where you are in the world, that is something that you can enjoy. also have, I am safe in my arms. I care for myself like no one else. So their higher self is coming through just to encourage you to love yourself, encourage you to take care of yourself. If you guys are not together right now, or you're not united in the 3D, there's this message coming through of like, I can't be there to hold you right now, so please like hold yourself. Or I can't be there to take care of you right now, so please take care of yourself. And I promise when I get there, I will take such good care of you, because that's what you deserve. The Queen of Pentacles is like, you deserve the best, you deserve the world, you deserve all the nice things. This person just wants to nurture you. This person wants to spoil you. Okay, so let's finish off the reading now with some messages from your spirit guides or your angels. I noticed after choosing this deck that it's actually like messages from your angels. So I've been saying angels and spirit guides. It's from everybody. Let's see what they would like to tell you. Fluorite, natural beauty and authenticity. Be yourself as God made you, naturally attractive and lovable inside and out. Okay, this is a message from your guides, but again, it's also a message from your person's higher self. You are absolutely beautiful and perfect the way you are, and you don't need to change anything about yourself. And remember that there's a difference between like self-improvement and self-refinement and like completely changing an aspect of who you are because you feel like it's not good enough. And what this card is here to tell you is that you can be completely yourself and completely natural and be so perfect to this person and be so beautiful to this person. Not that it matters what another person thinks of you, but maybe this card is appearing if you guys have felt like, because there was that feeling of insecurity coming up earlier. Maybe this is for both of you, honestly, because I feel like you guys are just like bleeding into each other's energy. But if you've ever felt like I'm not XYZ enough for this person, I need to change this and that, or they can't know this about me, I have to hide that, that is very inaccurate. That is very false. And you can be exactly as you are. Both of you can be exactly as you are. And the last card, which fell on the floor, is Clear Quartz. Let yourself feel all your emotions. Your entire rainbow spectrum of feelings is sending you important messages and guidance. Interesting. So both of these energies are deeply emotional, like we have spoken about, and maybe these two cards go together. Maybe you guys feel like you have to hide certain parts of your emotional spectrum around this person. Like, I can't show if I'm sad, I can't show if I'm angry, I can't show if I get too excited and giddy because that's annoying, or that's cringy, or that's uncomfortable to be around, or they're not gonna like my, what is it called? My expression or my display of emotion. And this is saying to let it all out. Let it all out. All of your feelings, all aspects of your personality, what makes you excited, what bothers you, just let it all out. Let it all hang down or whatever it is. You guys are just meant to be completely natural and completely yourselves together. And I think spiritually you're like cut from the same cloth. So probably a lot of the things that you feel are like weird or unacceptable about yourself, they're struggling with the same thing. And if you're just brave enough to, like, I don't know, like if this is your insecurity, you're brave enough to just show it to them, and then they're like, ha, and pull the same thing out of their pocket. Like, I have this too. Let's celebrate and love ourselves together. That's like kind of the vibe that I'm getting here. But anyway, I have to end this reading because I see that the battery dead thing is on the screen. So Thank you so much for letting me read for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching this, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. I also have a Patreon, so if you're interested in seeing even more exclusive pick of cards where you get to choose a topic, that will be linked down below too. Sending you lots of love, sending your person lots of love, sending your angels lots of love, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! I did it! Oh my god, I was so worried the camera's gonna die. Bye!